Hello, one and all. How are you tonight on this great and beautiful Saturday night? We will be diving into when hopefully before they arrive. Just give me a sec. Okay, I believe Matt will be on in a few minutes. Okay, so I just gotta switch things. Hello, everybody. I just gotta bring up the chat here. So, you know what? While I'm doing it like this, I will try and bring up the chat. Matt just texted me and he said he'll be on in a couple minutes. So let's see. So we just got to bring up the chat here. And maybe we will have James as well. I hope we will have James. Hey, Tank. Tank, if you want to come on, I sent a link in thing. Hey, Becky, how are you? Good to meet you. There is a link in Twitter, Tank, for you. Okay, I'm just getting things set up for the chat here. I can see the chat now, but I want to put it on a different screen especially for the way I view stuff. Hey, Eagle, how are you? I got my drawing pad. I was supposed to be drawing Michael Myers tonight, but I will be. Okay, no problem. Turn me down, mother. Okay, no problem. Okay, so actually, I've got everybody in for chat who I've invited. So let's go. Ah, cool. You're Matt's girlfriend, if I remember right. Matt, if you can hear me, if you want to come on too, Becky, you can. Matt's got the link. But as I was saying, I was going to draw Michael Myers tonight, but I decided, in honor of having Matt on, I got a few picks from his Indiegogo agenda. And I'm going to try and draw his characters for his agenda book. Well, Matt gets on here and we all chat and talk about Matt's book agenda. No. Hold on, guys. I'll be back in a sec. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that, folks. Just my mom wanted me for a sec. Hello, Joshua. How are you tonight? Okay. We have a couple other people that should be joining us shortly too. Good Dog Press, maybe John Dillert from Gaming the System, Adrian, I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name. Okay, I'm gonna point my screen downwards. That way I can draw. Well, I'm sort of looking at the chat, but I'm gonna keep this up. I wanna. Uh, I hope to be, Becky. I had bought my table this year, but I was unable to get the funds to get down there. But I was like I said, I was unable to get the funds to get down there. And then, or have anything other than what I had last year, made to sell. So, uh, I'm here on YouTube practically Monday through Saturday. In the evenings, I do a live drawing stream. So I've got lots of stuff that hopefully by then I'll be able to sell for original art, maybe prints. Joshua hasn't. Yeah, it was sad to miss this year. In fact, I actually had a few tables booked at different locations, but I was unable to get to them for the same reasons. So as long as everything goes good, hopefully next year I will be at Alpha Omega Con with a bunch of stuff to sell. So, okay, so I've got my chat set up now. Off on another computer. So now I can put this down. So I am drawing right now Matt's character, Machine Queen. Hopefully I do her justice. I don't know much about her. I don't know whether she's a hero or a villain. Since Matt is yet to arrive, he said he'd be here in a few minutes. Maybe Becky. Do you know anything about the characters, Becky? Hello. Who do we got here? This is
Hello.
Matt. Hey, Matt. How are you?
Hey, good, good. How you doing, Rick?
Good. You're sideways.
Okay, that's what I was wondering if I had to set this a different way. Here, let me see if I can fix this. Wait a second.
Ooh, nice thumb.
I wasn't sure. Is it me or is it you? Here, let's see. Here, I gotta fix this.
Were you able to send the link to James? Is he able to join us, or is it just you this evening?
Yeah, it might just be me because I sent him a link just in case, but I'm not sure if he's busy right now.
Yeah, I know I sprung that on you. I just thought of it at the last minute. I thought it might be good to have both the artist and the writer on.
Oh yeah, yeah. Here, let's see. Wait a second. Here, trying to adjust this stand. Here we go. Okay, I think I got it. Yeah, it works better that way.
Is that your
Here
brother
we
in the
go.
background?
Yes, it is.
Your girlfriend's in
My
the chat.
oh, nice.
Oh, Matt is
There we
Machine
go.
Queen. Is Machine Queen a villain or a hero?
Um, let's see. We're kind of early in the story, but I think she's a good guy.
Okay,
So yeah,
just
of
because.
course.
And,
Here we go.
there you
All
go.
right.
In honor of having you on tonight, I decided to grab a couple pics off your Indiegogo of your characters, and I figured I'd draw them
Oh, nice.
because this
Thanks.
is this is this is I live stream, drawing every night around 10, somewhere around there, usually around 10.
Okay.
So I guess you're not going to be able to pull up all your Indiegogo stuff. So let's.
Um, I do have a tablet here where I could pull up the campaign page.
Okay, well, I've got that page already. I can just bring it up
Oh,
and
you have
share
it on the
my.
screen.
Yeah,
Oh, that's even better. Yeah.
I
Great.
wasn't sure, so I figured I'd make sure I'd have it up. Okay,
Thanks,
so
man.
I've got. Okay, so I got to share my screen. So everyone, this is Matt Cossin. He is the artist for Agenda, and we are going to dive into what his agenda, as
Nice
the title
segue.
says.
Yeah, thanks for
Okay,
having me on, man.
no problem. Anytime you want to come on during the campaign, your campaign, let me know, and we can work something out. Like I said, I'm on here
Cool.
Monday through Saturday. I'm on live streaming like at about 10 o'clock, sometimes a little later, depending on what's going on in my life. Okay, so
Okay,
we
cool.
got. So is this a video? Yeah, you've got a video here for this, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm gonna.
James, he put up a nice video.
Okay,
Kind of
so
lays out what the agenda is, the campaign and everything.
okay, okay, so I'm gonna play the video. Hopefully, people can hear it. If not, they can
Okay.
go. Oh, gotta.
Hello, my name is James Hudnall. I'm an award writer of over 30 years.
Huh. For some reason, I can't hear anything. It's not playing the audio on YouTube for some reason.
Oh, okay. You guys aren't able to hear it? You guys aren't able to hear that?
It's not playing the audio on YouTube for some reason.
Okay, so you guys aren't able to hear it?
Sorry
Okay,
about that.
no problem. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Audio does not want to play. I wish we could play that for you. Well, you can. There is a link in my description at the bottom if you want to go over to this campaign and check it out. We'll look at a bunch more of it right now. You can watch the video later on. So, Adrian, I sent a link to you at Facebook if you want to get in. And Good Dog, I sent one to you in Twitter. So, okay. So, we got overview here. Most comics that claim to be set in the real world fail to take on the real issues seriously. But along comes agenda, which will take on subjects even the media wants to bury. What if 6 people came along with the power to actually affect change? Governments would immediately see them as a threat. Problems are often the byproduct of politics. Our goal is to create a comic like no other, from the mind of the award winner James Hudnall and Matt Cossin. Help us make it a reality. Hope I did that
Yes,
justice.
Oh yeah, nice and dramatic.
Okay, so we have got, you can get in on this for $10. That's, I believe, just a digital copy, right?
I believe it is, yeah. And
It
James
says,
just added today. He added a new tier, which benefits the military. So if you get that tier, I think it's $90. We send I forget how many issues. I think 6 copies of the book through the USO. I think it is. That's what it is called, right? And we give it to the military. I think overseas. I think it is.
yeah.
But
This says signed
plus,
digital postcard. Sorry, go on. So a $90 tier allows you to get 6 copies to the the military, as well as getting a copy for yourself. Right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Thinking about our boys in the military
Cool.
and women. But yeah, I got that because one of the subscribers on Mike Miller's page suggested it, and I was like, oh, that sounds good.
Yes.
You know, and so James, I told James, he put it up right away and got one to benefit those guys who serve, people who serve.
That sounds great. What's this? Yes, and Matt was on Drawn and Quartered this week. Where did you place? Or do you remember?
I tied with Art T Bear. I think it was for 4th place.
Oh, that's good.
So, but yeah, to me it made my day that I tied with Art T Bear. Yeah, that guy's awesome.
The unfortunate part is you didn't beat Malin.
Yeah, I don't know who did. I mean, doesn't he always tend to win because of the fan?
No,
like
this
fan
was
favorite, right?
He only won last week for the first time.
Oh, okay, because they're ribbing him on there, and
yeah,
I'm kind of new to it, so.
Yeah, everybody wants to beat Malin. If you beat Malin, that's your.
yeah.
That's the good thing. So, any ideas whether you have plans, whether you can get to be on that again, or because I know.
I'm not sure. We'll find out. I'll talk to Mike and see what's going on. I know he's got limited space. Was it 8 people? I think you can only have on at once.
Well, there's 10 people that you can have on at once, but he has Edwin on there as a moderator. So that would leave space for 9 artists.
Yeah, space for 9. Yeah, so that's 9. I knew he last time I was on, he had to one of the guys dropped out so that someone else could come in. I think it was, I don't know if it was Art.
Yeah.
like came in towards the end. I think it might have been another guy. I can't remember. I don't think it was John. But yeah, it's when it's all those people on, it's kind of hard to like figure out, who's talking, right? Unless they have a real
Yeah.
distinct voice or speaking pattern. So, but
Yes.
no, yeah, it was fun. I was on comic. Was it? No, I was on the Comic Artist Pros Secrets. That was called
Oh, with
EVS's page.
EVS. Cool. That's
Yeah,
good.
I was on his right before Mike's, and James, and he were pitching the book,
The,
the Agendas Indiegogo.
uh,
So, but yeah, that
that
was
is
cool.
definitely a
I,
good
I was
place to
new to
get
that
on a
show
few
too.
times. Yeah. That's a good place to
Yeah,
get on a
yeah,
few times. He's got almost
oh yeah,
80,000 subs, so.
yeah, yeah. I mean, the first 2 hours.
You are already
The first
at
two
like
hours. Yeah, yeah. We were at the first
uh,
2 hours. I mean, literally, we were up to like 15% funded just in the first few hours alone. So it really helped us out.
yeah. So yeah, and you're almost up to like half your goal, and you've still got like 2 months left. You're off to a good start for sure.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I mean, yeah, this is really great. I mean, because you never know starting up these campaigns. I did one but I didn't, run it, but I was part of one, and yeah, it was for Time Cheetah, a comic I
Yeah.
did where I just did the art and character designs, and then this one I'm co-creating with James, where I'm, designing all the characters and concepts, and of course the art for the comic.
Mm.
But yeah, I'm excited because man, James, I've known his work before, so I mean he's done. I keep finding out more things that he's done in the past I didn't even know he's a part of, and
Well, what do you know that he has done for sure?
he actually he helped create the Malibu Ultraverse. A lot of the characters, I think he did Hardline, that book. He wrote like a lot of the Bible of all characters for the show, at least the storylines, I think it was. So, and he worked for Eclipse. He did Esper's, his own series, and then he did one with Dan Brenton. It was called Psycho, I think it was called. And that was, which publisher was that for? Psychos. I think that was, it was either a DC. I think it was DC, yeah. But he did the English translation for mangas for different for Studio Proteus, and before they went with Dark Horse, but he was friends with the guy who did the pub. So back in the '90s, early '90s, late '80s, he was doing English translations for a lot of different manga, Japanese
Ah,
manga. So
oh,
yeah, I was surprised.
cool for sure. Okay, and we've got a $20 tier here. That includes a comic, postcard, and poster. Cool. And this is all American, of course, for any
Yeah.
Canadians. Okay. Yeah.
Oh,
You
thanks
might
for
want to
reading.
get yeah. Oops. About the only thing I find wrong at the moment, like I said, I was thinking about the $30 tier myself, and but the problem is you guys are only shipping to the U.S. It says.
Oh, really? On the $30 one?
Even the $20 one here says that ships to U.S. So I'm not sure whether you got the $20, $30. Let's see the $50. Yeah, ships to U.S. So from the 60 and up, it looks like you ship to Canada because it's got ships
Okay.
to Canada. Because
Yeah. Do
there's
you have a lot of?
I
Is your
know
audience?
I'm not sure whether how much my audience is Canadian, but I have audience from all over the world. I have somebody who listens to me regularly in Italy, but I'm not sure whether he's only 15, so I'm not sure whether he'd be able to buy the book. But
Okay.
even on EVS's stream and Mike's, they have people from all over the world. So I'm not sure whether you want to look into. I would suggest you and James seriously think about that. I'm not sure whether you know who Chester Busby is. He has
Hmm.
the fan
No,
speak
no.
channel. He has the fan speak channel, and he's living in Japan.
Oh, wow.
So
And he does like a video YouTube channel too. Is that
yeah,
what it is?
well, that's his channel, and usually he's the moderator on Drawn and Quartered, the fan edition.
Oh, okay. What was the name again?
Chester Busby, and I think that's Busby.
Okay,
And
cool.
another channel you might try getting on is John Malin's. He
Okay.
has a channel. You're right, Logan.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
getting this down. James probably knows. I don't know. He might know, but I'm just in
yeah,
case.
well, James would know. John Malin would know you from thing. All you have to do is probably send John Twitter, follow him, and send him a Twitter message,
Okay.
and you can probably arrange to get on it sometime on his channel.
Cool. Cool. Yeah. I was a little familiar with it. I watched some of Mike's Drawn Quarter before. A couple of competitions they had going there. It was fun. And then it's funny. I was actually in the drive-through trying to get some In-N-Out burgers, and then I got a call from Mike, and I was like, "Oh no!" And he's like, "Yeah." He said, "EBS wants you on the show," and I'm like, "Oh man!" So I drove home a little bit faster than the speed limit allows, but I made it home and I was able to jump on.
Yeah, In-N-Out Burger is great. I tried
Oh
them when I
yeah.
was there in
Oh good,
Los
good. Yeah,
Angeles that time.
yeah,
They were
yeah. I
excellent.
was gonna say,
One of the best
cool.
burgers I've ever had. Okay, let's see what's the
Yeah, it's
chat.
fresh.
Yeah. Uh,
Is it? What's the chat saying? I'm trying to look over here at.
yeah, it goes
Let's
by
see.
fast sometimes. Hey there, GOP. Hey, at Backyard Silent. So is biased because Chester Busby is biased. Okay. What Magna translation says Becky?
Oh, let's see. I know he did one called Pineapple Army, and it's by uh, Naoki Urasawa, the artist writer for 21st Century Boys, and he also did Monster, and
Wow, he did some really
Pineapple Army is one of
prominent.
his early ones.
He
Oh,
did some really prominent manga then.
Oh yeah, yeah.
This is one of our regular crew, Adrian. I'm not sure how to pronounce your last Adrian. Adrian, meet Matt.
Hey, man.
Hi. Hey, how's it going?
Good.
So yeah, it's yeah, he did a bunch of what else did he do? I think he did like I just picked up one recently. It was a back issue, single issues. It was by the it wasn't Bubblegum Crisis. It was they had police.
AD
I
Police.
can't remember exactly. It might have been AD Police, but yeah, it was man. It was they color the book, so but it was nice. Things from the '90s. But I always just I look through the names now of different English translations to see if his name's on the book because he did so many.
Yeah,
I'm
I'll
always
have to
Yeah.
keep it.
surprised. I'm like,
I'll have to look. I'll have
yeah,
to look in some of my stuff
Uh,
that I have.
yeah.
GOP says, I already backed Agenda. Well, thank
Oh,
you very
nice.
much.
Thank you. Yeah.
I think he said, Sup, my friend, how are you? Yeah, I think Gamer's asking, how are you? I'm not sure whether maybe he knows you personally, that you don't know. It's hard to tell with some of these names
Oh,
out there.
yeah. Because yeah, GOP Gamer. See, how you doing? Yeah. Sometimes the names like I'm still learning these names on the their handles, I guess you say. Hey, Becky.
Okay, and we got your $30 tier double agenda. For this, you get 2 original signed comics and 2 copies of a signed card. For $30, that's a steal, folks. That is a steal.
Yeah, James, man. He really wants to get back to the fans, huh? It's funny because he were sort of going to add in some sketch rewards, original sketches, but we had to adjust. Ethan was telling us to adjust the prices. He goes, "Man, you're giving it too cheap. That's a lot of art." And he's like, "Yeah, maybe we should rein it in a little bit." Yeah, but definitely I enjoyed drawing, so I'll have fun doing those.
Yeah. And we got your $50 one, Serious Agenda. You get 3 copies, signed poster, sketch, and 3 books, and an original sketch. Yeah, EVS is right. You got your stuff cheap here. I think this would at least be like $100 on anybody else's. Probably 150.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They definitely. I mean, they're not going to be super detailed like these giant illustrations, but I always tend to put a little bit more into them because, I don't know, I want to do my best, put my best foot forward. So sometimes you see like somebody's art that you did for them years ago, and you're like, oh no, I want to redraw that for you because you see how it looked. So I want to make sure I can look back at it and be like, oh, okay, cool. I don't want to be ashamed of it later.
Well, I think Gamer was talking to Good Dog Press, but I'm not sure whether that's what he meant or not.
Okay.
But if he backed it, great. If he did, go back it when you get the money.
Yeah. It's up for 2 months, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, you got some time.
Yeah, tell your friends, at least if you can't do it right away, or even if you can't do it, just at least try to share the link, on social media, kind of tell friends who like comic books. And yeah, it's going to be a fun book. It's has political overtones or undertones. I think it's overtones in it really, but it's not like, we're not trying to like preach some type of dogma or anything. It's going to be a fun story. Characters have different perspectives, different agendas. So it's up to the reader to kind of decide on which character they kind of back while they're reading the story.
Yes, for sure. Okay, and then we got your $60 one here where you start shipping to Canada. Finally.
Cool.
With and let's see, you get 2 copies of Agenda with both covers, second not shown yet, a T-shirt of your choice, and a poster for $60. Wow. You got to get in now, guys. This is these are just steals of deals. And we got some art over here on the side. Saying the ways you can help, choose a perk, and donate to our cause, and we will make our dream come true. The artwork is
definitely. We're gonna definitely. People are helping us out. It means a lot to us. It's not a small thing. So we're really appreciative, and we're gonna do the best we can. Posters, art, try to really punch it up. We want to make this like one of the best things we've worked on to date. So we appreciate all the help. Spreading the word. That's just as valuable too. We appreciate it.
Yes. I'm just slowly going over your tiers here. Well, that way everybody knows what they are that's listening and watching. We got next the major agenda. I like how you put the agenda and all that. That's just awesome.
Yeah, that's credit goes to James.
That's a good way to tie it in with your book and all that.
Yeah, I liked how he headed that. It's up to nuclear agenda, I think, right?
Yeah, we'll find out here. Well, anyways, major agenda is 3 copies of number 1 sign and a cool agenda T-shirt. Again, good perks. Global agenda. What's we got for the global agenda? You get 4 signed books and original art. Now, is that just 1 page of original art, or how many pages? Probably just 1 page. But you get
just 1 page. Yeah, original from the comic, like comic art.
So, and then we go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say. So Adrian, you also have your own broadcast or Like, how did you guys hook up, team up?
No, I don't have an actual broadcast channel. I play. I've been around since probably later 2017, around in the groups. I'm on like DNC's Facebook group. I modded Lone Star group for a little while to
Okay.
help my friend out.
Cool.
And then I roll around in like some of the Discord groups. We do some like recorded Discord discussions, go on some other guys' streams. But how I got hooked up with these guys was through Pixel Trader when he started the whole drawn and quartered fan edition. I
Okay.
volunteered to come on there. I met all these guys through the drawn and quartered fan edition, and then just kind of joined in on one across the streams one day because he put it out there amongst all the guys in that group. I think I was probably one of the first ones to come on your stream, wasn't I, Cross?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Manny was shortly after too, because Manny Good Dog Press, that is. Him and John Dillard, Gaming the System, are on here often. They have both won the fan edition and been up with the big boys.
Oh,
Yeah, I
cool.
thought pretty much what the heck, I might as well just jump on the stream and see how it goes, and we've just kind of done it on and off ever since. But so like I might set up a channel.
Nice.
I don't know. I've been talking about it. The thing is, the only time I can stream usually is when my family's in bed, so I got to be kind of quiet,
Oh,
which is why they tease me about being
yeah.
asleep all the time. So I'd probably
Yeah.
have to get like I'd probably have to get Booster or someone on with me because me and Booster are really good friends. I don't know if you know who
I'm
Booster
not
is from
familiar.
like from the
He's part of
groups
those
and
chats too.
stuff. Yeah, he's part of Chester Busby's group for the most part, but me and him have known each other from Discord and stuff.
And oh yeah,
Okay.
and Good Dog Press says he beat Malin.
Yeah.
Actually, John Dillard,
Oh,
Gaming the System, was the first winner of the fan edition, and he went on to the pros the next week and beat everybody. He won
oh
the
yeah.
pro edition.
Yeah, yeah.
I think I saw that one. I just tuned in like towards the end. Yeah,
So
good man. He's probably on
I got a
cloud nine.
question. I got a question
Yeah.
for you, Matt. How did you get involved in all this stuff?
Like involved in the comics or the group, the guys.
Comics Gate groups in general.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just friends with a lot of these guys, like on Facebook, and we talk comics, always commenting back and forth, and I live in San Diego, California, so I I met James at an actual there was like an art gallery, like an open studio gallery showing at one of the local comic artists' private studios. So we all went there, and then he was kind of avoiding the crowd, like in one of the art rooms, like where
Mm-hmm.
the artist works, the art desk and everything. And so my brother and I kind of gravitated in there to kind of, we wanted to see the artist's actual workspace. I like seeing how they work. Besides, my own space, I like to see what they do. Might be different,
Yeah.
but James is there, and we started talking. I didn't know who he was. I thought he was just a fan too of comics. I figured maybe he worked. But yeah, we found out we did work for the same publisher. We did stuff for Humanoids Publishing, and
Oh, okay. Yeah, humanoids.
and then he told
What'd
me
you
who he
do for
was.
humanoids?
Yeah, Humanoids. I did. I first started with doing like a cover for the Inkle
Oh,
for
okay.
Mobius's. Yeah, I did a cover for the Inkle, but it was the young version of that character, so it wasn't Mobius's book. It was like a spin-off.
Okay, I
And I
got you.
did a
Yeah.
cover, and then I did a short story for Metal Hurlant, and
Oh,
they actually made that short story, and it was called Cold Hard Facts. They made it into a episode of the TV show. You can
I'll have
actually
to
see
look
it on
that up.
YouTube if you type in Cold Hard Facts.
Yeah, I'll have to look that up.
And then after that, I did a series. It was a three graphic novel series called Flywires, and the French version was called Les Infinis, with
Mm-hmm.
Chuck Austin was the writer. And yeah,
Interesting. I didn't know that humanoids. Like, well, I'm guessing you're out of America, yeah, in U.S.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're
Okay,
in the
I didn't
U.S.,
know
but they
humanoids
came.
actually worked with people in the U.S. I thought that was all European.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the thing is they back when I went to a Comic Con my first time, Humanoids had a booth there and they were interviewing people for looking for artists. And they said they're doing a thing where they team up a European writer with an American artist or vice versa, like an European writer with an American artist. So
Oh,
they like my stuff. And it's funny is they team me up with another American, which is funny. But yeah, my
yeah,
last name, Cossin, is actually French.
yeah. Okay.
They thought, I don't know.
So,
but yeah, so
who
yeah,
are
it
some
was
of
an
your
experience. It was an
influences?
experience. I learned a lot.
That's cool. That's cool. So
Oh, pardon me.
how did you get into like the comic skate groups and like
I,
just because you were friends with a lot of these guys?
yeah,
He knows Mike in person, Matt. So
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
We used to do them on Facebook. Uh,
he actually met him the
to
same
Mike
place I
met in
met.
person first, and well,
I was gonna say, they actually met at the same place that me and Matt met, except different years. The year before, me and Matt met at Alpha Omega Con in LA, and then
yeah,
the previous year he had met Mike. I found out more recently. So
Uh,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Met
so
uh,
Mike. Go ahead.
so you and Cross have been friends for a while then.
yeah, but just over a year or
Okay.
acquaintances,
Yeah,
friends, acquaintances. Not sure how you
yeah.
want to
Over a
say
year. Yeah,
it.
we had
Interesting.
my girlfriend had a table at Alpha MegaCon, and my brother and I were kind of hanging out with her, helping her out. And then yeah, Rick sat next to us at this table, and so we were there for the whole day, so we are talking and everything. And
Yeah.
yeah, I was surprised he made a trek all the way from Canada. I was like, whoa,
No
that
kidding.
was impressive, man. I was like, wow.
That is pretty impressive, Rick.
Yeah. And I still have the fan art that your
Oh,
brother made for me that day.
nice.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
So
awesome.
So,
Yeah, you had that.
what were your like? What got you into comics from a young age,
Hmm. Um,
or whatever
I
age
think I
it was?
always
I
liked
guess.
them. Like I liked comics. Like it's funny. I was buying like I think the first one I could think of was like Archie type comics, and I was buying some Archie just because I thought, oh, this is cool. The art. I was into cartoony stuff as a kid, and then I kind of got into like GI Joe comics. So I like the military stuff, and and I didn't really get into superhero comics until like high school. But before then, I was into like yeah, just stuff like Ninja Turtles or GI Joe, sci-fi stuff, and from there, yeah, superheroes. And then after high school, I got into European art and of course manga, Japanese comics, manga, manga. But
Yeah.
but yeah, it's just a wide variety of stories really got me. Uh, but yeah, and of course, film. I love film. I think I like storytelling a lot, and I like visual storytelling. So being able to capture like these cool angles you see in movies and put them down on paper, it kind of like comic books did that, and also film started kind of copying off of some stuff in comics visually
Yeah. Well, the
because
thing
I guess a
about
lot of comic artists did that too.
comic storytelling
Yeah,
is that you can do things that you just never will be able to do in film.
yeah.
yeah,
One sec,
yeah.
guys. Joshua Hughes no, yeah, Hughes wants me to ask Matt, which Teen Titan do you like better, Starfire or Raven?
Hmm. Probably Starfire.
Oh,
Yes.
I just like that orange skin and that flying around. And is it orange and purple colors? Nice contrasting
Yeah.
colors.
Yes. I don't
and
know if you know who Pope Fire is, but she's one of my good friends. So that's
Okay.
That's why Joshua
they're
keeps asking.
Oh, it says Pope
stupid
Raven.
things.
I see that. Raven. I should have
yeah.
said Raven. Dang.
Yeah. Joshua Hughes is a devotee of Pope Raven.
Yeah, I'm a
Okay.
devotee of Pope Fire only because she's one of my friends.
But Pope Raven says, Matt, please give Rick some tips on drawing.
Dude, Rick, what's with all letting all these heretics on in your chats and stuff, man? It's like it's really getting wearing on me
Okay.
having to battle these guys.
Kick
Okay.
Matt. I got the wrong answer. I gave the wrong answer.
Okay. And to answer my one guy, Space Galleria, what's up if I am chatting with the guy who has an Indiegogo on my friend who has an Indiegogo campaign for his comic book Agenda, and he has teamed up with writer James, how do you pronounce Hudnall?
Hudnall.
Hudnall.
Yes.
So we're going over their Indiegogo. We're talking to Matt about comics and whatever else that comes up. So okay.
Yeah, comics, art.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Good
it's
dog.
I've been working yeah.
I was just
Or
gonna
any more
say, good
questions?
dog. Yeah, nothing here. Good dog says wrong answer. Matt, kick Matt.
Yeah, I saw that one. You gotta be careful on these boards, man. I gotta do my
Oh,
research to see what
these
the
people are
audience
brutal, man. They're brutal.
Yeah. But they just tease you in good faith, you know. Heck, I would even
Oh
suggest
yeah.
if you haven't got a channel yourself yet, I'd suggest getting yourself a channel, building up your base that way too. You know, but you just got to remember these guys will tease you, and it's all in good fun.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I learned that through those comics gate guys. They like to go back and forth, trash talk. I'm new to it. When I came on to the EVS's channel. They were talking to James ahead of time, and some of the people in the chat were saying that James looked like the Zodiac killer. And so Ethan was like, "Hey, James, do you want to dispel that rumor once and for all?" And then when I came on, they said, "Hey, Matt, does James like talk to you in codes?" And I was like, "What?" And I didn't know what they're talking about, you know. And then they were saying Matt might be the Green River Killer, and I'm like, "What?" Yeah, I came in late to that conversation.
Your girlfriend Becky says Iron Man or Captain America.
Iron Man, surprise, surprise.
So I got
I
a
like both
question.
characters.
Yes.
Who are some of your art influences?
Ooh, let's see. I think one of the ones that stands out that I'm always kind of looking at is like Alex Toth, because I like the simplistic, you know, I like how he can just take, you know, a simplistic image. He knows how to use the black and white space, not just lines, but black and white, and then simplify. And a lot of guys too, I like manga, a lot of different manga artists. Like I'm buying, what am I buying now? I'm getting the is that One Punch Man and My Hero Academia. I like those guys a lot.
Those are good.
And yeah.
It's funny you say Toth, because I actually see I see the influence of Toth in your work. I'm a huge Toth fan as well.
Oh, nice. Good taste there. Yeah, man, I love his stuff. And then of course I got Steranko shirt on. I like Steranko.
Yeah, I noticed the Steranko.
I met him once.
That's a nice shirt.
Thanks.
Good
yeah,
Dog
I got
Press
it at
says.
Comic-Con. Yeah, go ahead.
Good Dog Press says wrong answer again.
Again.
and then
2 for
then
2.
says Becky says yes, and then she says great answer. Venus Wars.
There we go.
Yeah, Venus Wars.
Venus Wars. That's a good one. I like that artist. Yeah, I definitely like him. I can't remember his name offhand.
Well, you
I
mentioned
haven't seen.
Urasawa earlier, and Urasawa is like probably one of the best artists out there as
Oh,
far as
yeah.
Japanese artists. He actually hosts a show where he goes to different artist
Yes.
studios and watches them draw. Have you seen that show?
Yeah, Mon Ben.
Yeah, that's a
Mon Ben
great
is like
show.
Mon Ben. Yeah. Oh man, I love that show. I literally, if I feel like I'm in an artist block, I go to YouTube, click that on, and it's like you watching manga artists draw, and it's just the sound of the pencils scraping across paper and the ink. It just like the dip pens. You're just like, man, it gets you. You just want to start drawing right when you start watching that for 10 minutes. You're like, I
Yeah,
gotta draw.
yeah, I agree.
Well,
I
I,
recommend it,
I,
Mon Ben.
I've got a subscriber that would really love you, Matt. He's really into the anime and the manga and all that. He's, although he's not here at the moment because he lives in Italy, which is 6 hours ahead of
Oh,
us. So
oh wow,
he
Italy, man.
catches,
This is international show, huh?
yeah.
Yeah,
He'll probably be watching this later,
Cool.
uh, so he'll probably sub to you. Well, not sub to you, but probably try and check out what he can of your stuff too. So
Yeah, because this is recorded, right? You guys put this on
yeah,
YouTube.
yeah. After this, well, we're on YouTube right now, live. So
Yeah,
and after we're
cool.
done live, it stays up that people can watch it afterwards.
Yeah, I want to start
So
doing some live stream myself, but I know you have to. I'm kind of like one of those guys who doesn't like giving out too much info, and you have to put in like your phone number, I guess, to be able to do live.
I forget whether I
Unless
did
you're
or
on a
not.
computer, you don't have to. I think
Yeah,
if you're on a computer, you don't have to, but if you use a phone.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah,
I get what you mean. You don't want to dox yourself or anything like that.
yeah.
no,
Let's
I do
let's
have
per
a Matt Cossin YouTube.
Okay. Anything up on there at the moment, or
Yeah, I just put up a video yesterday, I think it was, where I talked about my piece I did for the Drawn and Quartered. It was a Skeletor, and I actually was touching it up while I was talking about it.
cool? I'll have to make sure to put a link to your YouTube in here. Good dog. Can you find his link on find his thing on YouTube and put it in? That's Matt Cossin, Cossin. Right? That's
Yep.
how it's.
Yep.
Or
Yeah.
can you type something in the chat and then he can go to channel? Maybe just like type hi or whatever.
Yeah, let me see if I can bring it up too. But if you got a guy on it, I mean, it's even better.
Yeah, he's a moderator. You can't because you're not a moderator. You can't type in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Well, you can type in the chat, but you can't put links in the chat.
Yeah, the clickable links.
Yeah, Becky mentioned Atomo.
Oh yes, Atomo, man, I love Atomo too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a shame he
yeah,
doesn't do
Kira.
anything. Shame he doesn't
Yeah,
do
I know.
anything nowadays. Have you
Yeah,
seen his
he did.
son's? Have you seen his son's
Oh, his
art?
son?
Yeah, his
No,
son.
you know.
He's an artist, but he's not like a manga artist. He's like
Oh,
a fine artist kind of. I don't know. If you haven't seen his son's work, I'd look into it because it's really heavy, detailed stuff.
oh, cool. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. Do you know his name, like his first name?
I could probably find it. Hold on. He's
I
Okay,
definitely
so
know his last name.
yeah.
okay, so let's go back to your thing for a couple minutes and get the last couple of these tiers done. We have the atomic agenda for $200. This gets you 10 signed copies and original
Yeah.
art. There is only 5 of these, and one is claimed, people. You want this 10 copies? If you're a comic book store, this would be great for you. So, getting 10 copies for $200, that's what? 10 divided by, well, maybe it's not, well, they're signed,
Well, if you're getting
signed copy.
also, yeah, do you get something else with it too, right? Is it just
Yeah,
it's the
original
books?
art. Original art.
Yeah.
So it's good for an individual, trying to support the campaign. but I'm not sure whether it'd be good for. I'm not sure how good it would be for a comic book shop if they wanted to sell it.
I think
But
the one
you
below
know,
it gives you like 20. Let's see.
yeah, we have,
Look
and
at
then we
that.
for nuclear agenda for
Nuclear.
$250. 25 signed books. That's like $10 a piece.
Yeah.
And 3 shirts, and it's got something else that it's not showing. And 0 claimed of this for 100 of them. And the one, Supreme Agendas, which been there was only one. We can't even see what it was. Sold out.
Yeah, 2 of
And
them
I
are.
think and Supreme Agenda 2. Oh, I think this is with you in the comic book or something like that, right? That's what it was.
Yeah, yeah. I think it was like, yeah, it might have been because because Ethan was telling us that it was like really cheap for the amount of stuff we're giving. So I think we ended it with 1 per. So the first
Yeah.
people who got it, they lucked out. They got the early bird special.
Yeah. And then, of course, there is his featured, the $90 one that he was mentioning earlier, agenda for the military agenda. You get 6 copies for the military. Will that and 3 signed books for yourself? I was gonna say, as Mike said, he would with the money that he was using for it, he was able to get like 26. So could that possibly go up for the? Oh, it says minimum, so that could possibly go up for number of.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I have to take another look at that
Yeah, so it says.
because we just added that today.
Okay, this says up here. It says 2 signed copies, and then down here in items included 3 signed. So you might want to make sure he gets the right amount for the person.
Yeah, I think because I think we're doing. I think we kind of not maybe perfectly, but I think we copied and pasted almost exactly what Mike had going for his
Yeah.
military. Because someone mentioned that, like I said, military. We got a lot of military out here in San Diego because we got the bases, military bases. So it's a lot of military
Yeah.
discounts everywhere.
Joshua, who are the Cossin bros? This is Matt and his brother Mike.
Yes.
Mikey. So that who the Cossin bros are? Forgive me for.
Yeah, Cossin. Cossin, you got it right the first time. Cossin, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So and
Yeah,
let's see whether
Cossin. Yeah.
let's see what I
Hey.
let's see whether you've gone up any here. Let's refresh. Where's that refresh right there? Is that 3,799?
Let's see.
Oh, and you've gone up $150.
Oh, nice. Thank you. Cool.
I hope that's
Whoever
due
you
to
are.
me.
That would be nice, whoever you are. Thank you. If you're out there
Yeah.
in cross comics land, thank you. Yeah, yeah, we have let's see.
Here are some of the characters in it. Let's see, who's this? Who's that one? Rebel.
It's a rebel.
Yeah.
He's kind of like
And
a
then we got.
hacker.
Okay. Yes. Tell us about him. Tell us about Rebel.
Okay, I don't know how much I could say because I'm trying to be careful because James said not to give too much away. And he's a hacker, and he sees what's going on behind the scenes, and government, some shady things. He's kind of one of those guys who does research, and then he's trying to expose it. So he goes around trying to expose different politicians and stuff. I believe it is.
Okay.
And there's more to him, but
yeah, you don't want to say too much. You don't want to give too much of the story away. Next, we have Machine Queen Suit 1.0.
Yeah, that's the first design. She looks totally different now, her costume. And is it Mike Miller and Ethan were joking around about how like, oh, you're not using it? I'll steal it now. So, but yeah, they liked the color scheme. But no, but yeah,
nice
she's like a robotics designer, and she has like a whole a lab. She's almost like a, I don't know if you say Batman, but she's got, her own. She's rich. She's got her own company, corporation. She's a programmer, designer. Yeah, she's got her own agenda too. Has to do it
Yep, I
all.
guess everybody has their own agenda in Agenda. Up next, we got Pharaoh. Like nobody would guess that from that picture.
Yeah, yeah. Gives you a little bit of a hint on what what his influences are. Yeah. Oh yeah,
Egyptian. So,
he was a fun one.
Yeah, I like his
you got any
design.
any information that you can share on Pharaoh besides the Egyptian stuff?
Yeah, he's actually probably, I would say, closer to like a Batman type of guy because he's got the mask. He believes in taking back the city that he's watching over. So you can see in the first page in the agenda, he's actually taking on some street drug dealing punks, and there's like a gang turf war or something going on. But yeah, he's one of those guys. He wants to bring order to his city, and he uses like a really strange technology though. That's the difference between him and Batman. He's got like some sci-fi hardware.
What city is he in, or is it a made-up city?
I'm not sure exactly. It might be made. I don't know. It might be made up. I think James might be using real locations. Let me see.
Okay, well,
Though.
we'll have to have you on to learn a little bit more as the time progresses. So this is Machine Queen #2 or something like that, or Secret
Yeah,
Identity.
that's her in her. Yeah, her casual clothes. Casual. I should say. I don't know, work clothes. Yeah, she's looking back. I'm like, oh, this dress is a little short there. It's different when you're drawing it and you're like seeing.
Nothing wrong with a little sexy in comics.
Yeah, it's a little.
And who is this?
And I believe I can say his name. It's King Victory.
Yeah, I think it says here. It's as I put it on
King Victory. Yeah, he's one of my favorite now. Just the look of him. He carries around like big giant like machine gun type rifle thing. And
Yep.
Yeah, I'm having fun with that guy.
Yeah, I was gonna say your character designs. They have some very good looks to them. Like they're the type of character designs that would be memorable. Like they stand out. They're not just mundane superhero designs. They're very very well done, man.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah.
What can you tell us about King Victory?
King Victory. I'm not a lot. I don't know a lot about him now, but I know that he takes on like and that one of the opening scenes, he's taking on some terrorists. Like they're actually these jihadi was against these two Muslim warring factions, and they're going to kill some women and children, and he steps in to save them. And he's pretty brutal though, because he has these giant guns, like he's kind of like sci-fi guns. So he enjoys what he does. He's not shy from the violence.
It looks like he has a little bit of Roman influence there with the whole armor.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that was the tricky thing. I was trying to figure out. There's so many cool like Roman, like military uniforms and armor types. I was trying to figure out what to go with because they're so cool. A lot of them. I was doing reference searches, and I'm like, man, there's so many cool things. What should I go with? But yeah, I figured something like recognizable. That's definitely can't be mistaken. It's Roman. It's the giant. I don't know what you call it on top of his helmet. I'm not sure the actual name, but yeah, it's like the feather.
Yeah,
feather cap
it looks like you did an energy version of it.
Yeah, but that it's actually. I was contemplating whether or not to draw it in, and I figured, it needs it in. So the final version has it, which I think you can see the art. Like there's a picture of him from behind, and also on the cover. But yeah, he has the whole.
Yeah, we see him
that
there.
That would have been a good idea too, actually.
So who's this other one here? Is that Machine Queen 2.0?
Yeah, that's the final design version.
We got Pharaoh there.
For her, I went through like 5 designs for her before I actually got something that looked right.
And
I wanted her to look memorable.
Yeah.
Like
who's this hooded guy in the background? behind Rebel?
Oh, that one. That is one of the mysterious characters. I don't know if I keep his name, but he's kind of like watching everything going on behind the scenes, and he's got a part to play in it that's bigger than we think. But he's watching each of these characters, and he's in the shadows, kind of lurking, waiting. And I'm not sure if I don't know if he's got nefarious ideas and plans, but we'll find out.
Yeah.
That he's in the shadows.
We'll find out what all their. You can find out what all their agendas are when you buy Agenda.
That's right.
You get it.
Thanks, man.
And then we got some of the stuff down here. The book.
Oh, that's one of the designs you can see is Machine Queen. See that one sketch by the books on the right?
Oh,
that's one of the earlier
yeah.
Machine Queen sketches.
Mm.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, what time period is this taking place in? Is it taking place in kind of our time period, or is it taking place in more like a bit of a futuristic time period?
Yeah, I think it might be the near future. James tries to make it timeless so that it can fit. Yeah, it's a little more like near future, not distant future, but yeah, has some tech that we can recognize. But of course, it's going to be a little bit more advanced. But he wants to make it kind of timeless, so it's not too dated years from now. So we'll see how I do with that.
I'm smart.
And let's see, do we got any more art down here? We got a page with Pharaoh on. This is where you're saying he's about to kick some people's butts.
Yeah, see. His suit makes him so he can levitate or float. And one of the things we're going to do is on the bottom of his feet. I kind of had this last minute thing. We're going to have it glowing on the bottom of his feet. So it's almost like he could walk, like he's walking on solid ground if he wants to believe so. But he's just standing there in air. But his tech that he has is pretty advanced. And I'm not sure if they'll explain. I think we'll explain it later on, maybe.
Okay, we got to get to the chat here for a little bit. Okay.
Yeah, good, yeah.
Yeah, as you know, I'm not sure how much you remember what I've told you about my character man, Canadian Shield, but I've told you about his secret identity, man like Cougar. I've been getting razzed the last couple of days because of that name, because of certain things that it could represent nowadays in terms. So they're wondering what you think. What do you like cougars? And I say, do you like the animal cougars?
Okay. Yeah. Yes, the animal cougar, cougars are cool. Animal cougars. I'm sure they're all cool. Like,
well, some would say that cougars act kind of like animals. So.
Yeah.
Okay. John Dillard says, Gaming the System, King Victory sounds like a name Rick Piper me would come up with. I'll take that as a compliment, John. Tank Ferret. Let's go on.
That's cool.
Tank Ferret says, seriously though, this looks really cool. Then John says, 4 to 5 designs. Sounds indecisive. And Joshua says, stop ignoring the chat, Rick. John says,
sorry, guys.
Hey, we got to get through some of this stuff, so we'll get to it. Then John says, drink some coffee. John then says, Rick ignoring the chat because he is biased. Becky says, Rick is doing a great job. Good Dog Press says, nice. I like cougars. Becky says, go Rick. Good Dog Press. Wrong answer again. Kick Mac. Pope Raven. Kick Rick.
Can't win with the Good Dog Press.
Yeah, I just don't know why Good Dog Press and John Dillard Gaming the System aren't in this with us, because they both got chat links to get in here.
Yeah, I wondered about that too. Picking on me about drinking some coffee. I'm a chill guy, man. I don't get too excited.
John's friend, like you need to come. So okay.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I realized on that the EVS's channel I was a little too quiet compared to everyone else. I sound like you know.
That would probably be me if I ever got on there too. I don't know if I'd fit in very well.
No, I kind of was a little careful because I didn't want to step on any toes because I was new to the channel. So I didn't want to, chime in on any of the trash talking really because, I am the new guy. And take it a little easy,
You sound like Good Dog Press. He did the same thing when he got up to the pros.
Dude, he was
yeah.
talking trash all the time, and then he gets on the pros, and he's just like silent.
Eagle 43 says
There was a strategy to that, though. There was a strategy to that.
Yeah. I can understand it.
Eagle 43 says, John's friend, you need to calm down. Joshua Hughes, kick Matt. Good Dog says, Skunk Girl forever. Good Dog Press has a real good character called Skunk Girl that he's going to be coming out probably with an Indiegogo in a couple months. So look for that. Let's see what else we got. John Dillard says, I got no invite because Rick is biased. You got an invite. It's on Twitter in our group thing. Good Dog Press says, you did not give me the DA link. It's in Twitter. In our thing, whole big one for you, me, Tank, and John.
Yeah, feel free to jump in, ask any questions.
Joshua Hughes, Good Dog Press. Yeah, calm down, John's friend. Good Dog says, Rick is biased. John Dillard says, now I wouldn't go on even if you offered to change Manly's Cougar's name. Good Dog Press says, Good Dog Press says, no dolphin love. Becky says, bunnies! Well, when he was
bunnies.
When Good Dog was on with the big dogs, he drew Lobo with his dolphin, and he obviously did not win, unlike John Dillard the week before, who first time in the pros won, took victory, made us
nice
fans look the greatest.
And Manny was robbed.
Yeah, yes he was.
There might have been a little bias in that.
I think there was some bias.
And
I think there was some bias that they're not going to let one of the fan edition guys. Yeah, they're not going to let one of the fan edition guys come in there and win again.
Hey, look who's here!
Hello,
it's the writer of Agenda.
Can you hear me,
James?
Hello.
Nice.
Hey, hello, James.
Hello.
How's it going?
James, this is Rick.
Okay. Hello, James. How are you?
Good. Can you hear me?
Yes,
yeah, we hear you good.
Okay, good. I just had to plug in my camera because I leave it off usually.
Oh, no problem. No problem at all. I'm glad you could join us tonight. We've been going over your Indiegogo. You've hopefully from this, you guys have made $150 so far.
Actually, we're doing great. We already made like 46 or 7%. Let me just check.
Well, no, I mean when I checked it when I first got on to it, it was like $150 less, and then I refreshed it about 5-10 minutes ago, and you had made $150.
Jumped up.
Yeah, it's 48% now. It's 38.
All right. Nice.
Sweet.
Yeah. Rick's been going through the Indiegogo step by step, going through each of the tiers and perks, rewards.
Yeah, we
I told. Yeah.
I was going to say, James, tell us a little bit about yourself or the chat a little bit about yourself. Matt was singing your praises, which is good, but so the chat knows a little bit about you.
Okay, I'm a award-winning writer of comics. I've been in the business since '86. I've worked for Marvel, DC, Image, and Malibu, and a bunch of other companies. I started out writing Espers for Eclipse Comics, which was a defunct comic company. That was my first work and my longest-running work. And I worked for Marvel for a couple years. I wrote Alpha Flight and Strike Force Moratori. And I worked at DC, and I wrote The Unauthorized Biography of Lex Luthor, which was just republished. And and a bunch of other stuff. I've
book.
written Superman and Batman stories. And then I wrote Harsh Realm for Harris Comics, which became a TV series briefly. And I also was a founder at Malibu's Ultraverse back in the 90s. I was the creator of Hard Case and The Solution. Those are the two books I did. And then I went to Image and I did a bunch of books like The Age of Heroes. I did another Esper series over there, and I did Shut Up and Die, which is a crime comic, and a bunch of other stuff. So I've done a lot of stuff over the years, and I worked. Now Agenda is a project that I'm doing after a hiatus of not working in comics for a while. It's a project I came up with when I lost my leg, which I did a couple years ago. When I was in the hospital, I just started thinking up. Since I was in the hospital for like a month, I just sort of decided to kind of come up with a bunch of ideas for characters, and I thought up a universe to go with it. And so this is it, and I'm really excited about it. I think it's pretty cool.
Yes, it looks good. I'm hoping to get. Oh! You got to put earphones in or something and turn down the chat. Otherwise, we're just going to get feedback when we talk.
Okay, let me put my headphones on. I got headphones. I'm sorry, I didn't know that. Usually I have my thing turned down pretty low. Let me just lower it. As long as I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I'm just going to have it loud enough for me to hear you.
Yeah.
I have some headphones, but I have to switch the mic and everything. So
yeah. It sounds good now, or
yeah.
Let's see.
Well, you're not doing any feedback. We just don't need the. Okay.
you got some heavy-duty Star Wars headphones there, James.
I don't see where the settings are.
Okay.
I don't see.
Okay.
Yeah. Change. Okay, never mind. I'll just go like this.
No,
I can hear you.
No, that's good. Yeah.
Okay.
You can hear you. And there's no feedback anymore.
Okay, as long as there's no feedback, it's all right.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to read a couple of the chats here. Becky says, hi, James. Joshua says, hey, it's that Zodiac killer guy. You got to forgive these chats. They're ruthless on you. So take it with a grain of salt.
Joke. He's had me on his show a few times, and he likes to call me the Zodiac killer for some reason.
Yeah, I was telling him about that episode.
Okay. Anyways, Pope Raven says, hi, James. William Reed says, hi, James. Becky says, I like your book on writing. Thank you. John Dillard, Gaming Mysticism, says, is this the guy that named the character King Victory? Ha 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 ha.
That's me.
He didn't think that was I don't think he thought that was a very great name.
Well, when you read the book, you might change your mind.
Okay. And then Tank Ferret says, Espers was my jam. John Dillard says,
nice.
John Dillard says, Rick, control your stream. What is going on? I can't hear anything. What? And then Doug Press says, Boomer. Okay, can everybody hear anything right now?
I can hear everything.
Yeah, I can hear.
I'm more talking about the chat at the moment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just in case John's, I'm not sure whether John's messing with us or not.
So I got to ask, what was it like working with Malibu?
Well, it was great in the beginning because they had a lot of money from Image. They were the first distributor of Image Comics, so they had all this cash. And they started the Ultraverse to have their own line of books, and they paid us really well, and they treated us really well, and we went off to these not seminars, but retreats, like in different places, and that's how we came up with the universe and everything, and it was really great. But then, the industry started slowly sliding because there was just too many damn universes at the time. Everybody was coming out with a new universe.
Yeah. And
it was just like, everybody was like, it's, trying to outdo each other in terms of promotion and social media back then, which was not like it is now. It was smaller, but all us creators were all like trying to pick apart each other's universe. We were all getting online and Not necessarily. I wasn't trying to but I mean, like people were just dissing each other's universe and everything. Sort of like today when people are dissing comics.
Oh, I remember. I remember that.
Yeah. So I
very
mean,
well.
I used to have a running like feud with Stephen Grant, even though we get along fine now. But at the time, we were like bugging each other, and anyway, so.
Well, correct me if
But
I'm
it was
wrong.
fun.
Didn't Malibu do like a crossover series? What was it? You guys, I'm trying to remember. See, Marvel owns those characters now, right?
Yeah.
They were
Okay.
the
What
ones that
happened
bought them
was
out.
when things were sliding for everyone, including Malibu, they were looking to sell the company to either Marvel or DC, and DC was interested in buying them, and they were going to buy. They were going to buy it, but the last minute, Marvel came in and made a deal that Scott Rosenberg, the owner, liked better, which was too bad because Marvel just wanted to buy the coloring department. They didn't care about the characters, and they pretty much shut down the characters. And they let it run for like a year or two without us. They kind of like got rid of the founders for most of us. So I was out of work pretty fast, and I was there long enough for them to have this crossover that you described. I forget what it was
Yeah,
called,
I forget
but
what
it
it was called
was kind
too,
of
but I had
stupid.
some issues. Yeah, it wasn't that great.
It was really dumb. I mean, they wanted, first of all, they just wanted to ram everything into the Marvel universe, but then even though they own the characters now, they just refuse to do anything with them.
So they
just
still
sitting
have
on 'em.
ownership of the characters, then they're just sitting on them now, is what you're
Yeah.
saying. Okay. Yeah, there were some
I've
pretty
heard the
cool
rumor
characters. Like I remember Hard Case. I actually have a few Hard Case issues, and I always liked that character. I like that book.
Okay.
Thank you. Well, it
Okay,
was.
we
Sorry.
got a couple comments in the chat here. It says Cross Comics has a universe, don't you, Rick? Yes, I have my own universe that I've created for my comics that I've created. And Take Fair says the Espers with the issues with the three of the store. The Espers issue with the stories of the three assassins is still one of my favorite comics of all time. Second to only to Detective Comics 400, says Tank Fair.
Well, that's great. Thank you.
Hey, Tank. Tank's in here now. He's the one I just read the comment off of.
Hey,
Nice.
Rick, how you doing? Hey,
Good.
gentlemen, how are you?
Good.
Oh yeah, no, I just wanted to comment that issue that I'm referring to, the Espers that had the three assassins, like the three little stories of the assassins. That it was this setup. I mean, my mom forbade me from buying the comic after she found it and found it had adult material in it. And that was the end of me collecting. I think I only got like 3 or 4 issues into the series before she found my collection. That was it. But and I haven't actually had those comics since maybe a few months after they came out. And that issue still, the artwork, the writing, the introduction, I don't even remember the words, but the story stayed. And it's like, that's heavy duty. It's some incredible stuff. So huge fan.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I was
You're
very
welcome.
excited to write it at the time because I got to work with a really great British artist named John M. Burns, not John Byrne, but Burns with an S. And the guy's, as far as I know, he's still alive, but he was an amazing classical British writer who was, he must have been in his 50s at the time. He really a phenomenal writer. He used to be the artist of Modesty Blaze in England, which was a big character over there, sort of like a female James Bond. And it was a comic strip, and he's a phenomenal artist.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. He is a phenomenal artist.
I
Yeah,
just
that
sent you the
little
link
old
again,
Asian man
Manny.
still haunts my dreams.
Yeah, Lo Chong is his name. Yeah, he's a character that I really enjoyed writing. He's sort of like he is an old Asian man, a Korean, and he is really powerful psychic, or Esper, as I call him in the series. Very powerful. He's assassin for the, he's started out as an assassin for the Tongs over there in Asia, which is sort of like their mafia. But he later turns out to be for the Circle, which is the sort of like the bad Espers in the storyline. Sort of
Okay,
like a
hold on a
cabal of evil Espers.
Yeah, I think I picked up that comic when I was about 6 months deep into studying crane style kung fu, and that was my favorite section of the book.
Oh,
Okay,
cool.
hold on a sec. Manny, I sent a link directly to you on Twitter, and same with John. Okay. We can go.
Rick, they're trolling
What?
you,
Yeah,
testing you.
messing with you. Hey,
Hey, I can say I did it directly to them now, so instead of in our
I
group. Although you
I
got
am.
on,
Oh, sorry.
go ahead.
I was gonna say that I am really digging Agenda. I
yeah,
myself am
Awesome.
working on a story that's in depth and where things don't are it's business as usual, but it's not business as usual. And I really get into that type of stuff. I gave you guys a big plug earlier. I was like, dude, if you guys like stuff like Dan Brown, you like this, something that
Thank you.
you see that thought has been put into this, and the artwork is just beautiful. It conveys the total
Thanks.
feel of the story. I'm in love with this.
So, James, what
Thanks a
caused
lot.
you to go the Indiegogo route with all that? Like, how did you
I've
how
been
do you
wanting
get
to do it
involved
for
with
years,
comics, dude?
actually. I have friends that have been very successful doing Kickstarters,
Okay.
and I have worked with GoFundMe on just personal, for when I lost my leg. I had people donating money to help me because I was stuck in Texas and I didn't have any way to get home, and I was homeless and everything. It was not a good time, to lose your leg and well, I lost my foot at that time, but I was basically lost my job, and I was in a strange town, Austin, which I went there for work, and then I lost my foot, and I lost my place because I was upstairs, and so I couldn't go upstairs anymore. And it was just like a whole nightmare,
Oof.
a cascade of things. So anyway, I had to GoFundMe for that, but I always wanted to do one of these crowdfunding things, but I wanted to wait until I really had something strong with really good art and everything, and I had enough done
Hmm.
that I didn't want to just come blank with nothing except a few sketches. I wanted to have something that was more fleshed out. So that's why I waited to do this.
Okay.
And I went with Indiegogo because a bunch of people I know were working with Indiegogo, and I decided to just go with it too, since that's where they were going. So um, I got nothing against Kickstarter. I probably might do another thing at Kickstarter because I have another book that's almost done already, which is the Age of Heroes in color. John Ridgway is coloring all of the Age of Heroes books, which was in black and white originally. It looks
Yeah, I have a few of
phenomenal.
those. I have a few of those.
Yeah, so we're going to compile it into a collection, and we're also going to add one more issue. So there's going to be one issue of new material, and so that's something I want to schedule to do after this. So that'll be my next thing, and I'll either do it with Indiegogo or Kickstarter. I haven't decided yet.
Do you guys have a printer figured out for
Yes, I have a
for
printer, a
this
really
then?
good printer. They do really good quality. One of the things I like about them is that they will fulfill crowdfunding orders, so they can actually send the books right from. They'll ship the books. So the only thing is for signed books and stuff like that, it's going to have to be shipped to us so we can sign them. But as far as anything else, they'll ship it directly to the user or the consumer.
Cool, cool.
So that's a
Manny from Good Dog Press has joined us. Hello, Manny. How are
Hello,
you?
Manny.
Hey, Manny. Okay. I was gonna say. So,
hello.
James, you are the writer. What can you more? Can you? I'm not sure whether you heard anything of what Matt was telling us. What can you share with us about your book agenda? What is the agenda?
Yeah, sorry. I actually just got his email when I logged in. I just I just came on just as soon as I saw his email, so I missed everything he said. But basically, it's about let's say it's like set in the real world. So let's say suddenly 6 people appear on the scene that are able to alter reality or change, do things that should be impossible. Okay, what if those 6 people existed all of a sudden? And what if they didn't know each other? They lived in different parts of the world. But of course, if somebody got superpowers, I've always thought about this. If somebody got some kind of power to change the world, what would they do? Now, a person can be evil or they can be good, but they can also be somewhere in between. It's not so cut and dry. And I always thought, if you do anything, if you try to change things, for example, if you try to, stop evil in the world as you see it, as you personally see it, you would be upsetting the people that you'd be trying to stop. And what if, like, for example, if you didn't like the way the government was and you tried to do anything about that, you would obviously become a terrorist in the eyes of the government. You wouldn't be the good guy, you'd be a terrorist. Or let's say you're trying to stop criminals, but the criminals have paid a lot of money to politicians. So you would think the politicians would be on your side, and then find out that the politicians see you as a bad guy, and they all try to call you a terrorist also. I always, everything in reality is any action has consequences, and there's also unintended consequences of any action. In comics, we generally don't try to deal with that. In comics, usually, people get in a big fight and destroy a bunch of city blocks, and the next issue, it's all forgotten. But I always thought it'd be more interesting to see the fallout of any action, to try to show how actions ripple out and affect other things, and try to show something that's not so cut and dry. So I actually don't pick anybody any character as a hero necessarily. I don't say that they're a villain. I let you decide as the reader who's good and who's bad, and who you like and who you don't. However, I will warn you in advance that your opinions might change as you get to know the characters better, because there's a lot more depth to these characters than the typical comic where somebody's just presented you as a hero or a villain. I don't do that. I let you see the layers of that person and the dimension, and that's my whole point of view on this thing. And it's called agenda because everybody has an agenda. Everybody, in life too, in real life, we all have agendas of our own that we want. We want things to happen a certain way. We want this to happen and that to happen. And then we go about trying to make it happen. And what if we had the power to really make things happen? Like if we could force things to happen, and then what would happen as a result of that? That's kind of where I'm going with that. But I don't want to give up too much of the story, or I can just tell you a little bit about the characters and that sort of thing. But there's a lot of surprises, so we'll just kind of walk through it.
Well, I know one person in the chat's already asking about one of the characters that I have up here. Rebel. Tell us what you can about Rebel without giving away too much of the story.
Originally, I called him Rebel, but it's that name's used too much, so I changed it to the Insurgent. But basically, he's somebody who has the ability to record conversations, private conversations, and then he puts them on YouTube. So if he's able to record secret conversations between politicians or criminals or anybody that he decides to focus on, he can get in there and he can reveal a lot of things that are supposed that nobody would ever know. And he actually puts it on, he makes it public. So he embarrasses a lot of powerful people. So they, of course, think of him as public enemy number one, because even though he doesn't actually physically attack anyone, but because he's basically attacking them with the truth, or revealing them to their criminality or whatever, and that has huge sweeping consequences, as we'll see. But he doesn't get into a lot of fights necessarily, mainly because I just think that somebody to actually affect things like that in such a amazing way, that's going to be an interesting thing to see and how it would play out.
Yeah, that's very interesting because someone like that's not really a physical fighter in the sense that he would be physically attacking them or like terroristically attacking them, like with bombs or something.
He's very good at keeping anonymous. So he's sort of anonymous in that respect, and he definitely tries. But of course, they try to find out who he is, and they try to destroy him. So
Well,
his whole thing is trying to protect himself and his identity.
Right. I could see that kind of character being more liked by the everyday man more than somebody that would like literally attack a politician or something like that. That's very interesting.
Each of the characters in this series are sort of like an avatar for a certain point of view.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like an avatar for a certain point of view. And each of the characters, like King Victory, for example, he's another avatar for another point of view. And the whole point is that showing like, what if you could do this? What would be the result? And so, like, what if you could go and just attack like ISIS on your own, for example? What would be the effect of that, and how would that play out? Things like that. So that's kind of where I'm going with these.
Okay. William Reed says he said this before you got into the characters, that he likes the premise of the book. Okay, so what can you tell us about Machine Queen?
Machine Queen is a lady who, she's Japanese, and she inherited her father's company, which is a big robotics company in Japan. But that culture is still very much male dominated, and and people in our company don't like a woman running the company. And so the Chinese, who in real life, they like to steal technology from all these other countries, and she has to deal with the Chinese are trying to buy her company, but they're actually also trying to covertly, through industrial espionage, steal the secrets of her company. What they don't know about her is that she has the ability to control super advanced technology, robotic technology that's way in advance of anyone else. And she controls them with her headset that you see there. Oh, that's an early design. He actually has updated that design, but
yeah, he said this is one that's there. So
is what?
He's Matt said that, but this is one that's on there. So I think
I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just telling you. But so, anyways, that's basically her story, and she has a friend who also has powers. The mystery of the story will be, how did these people get their abilities, and how did they get their powers? Because their powers are unusual in a lot of respects that I won't go into right now, but it'll be an interesting. It'll be one of the things people wonder as they start reading this.
Okay, and we got Pharaoh here. Can you tell us about him?
Pharaoh is somebody who is from the Black community, and he's really upset with the crime. Think Chicago and all the people that get killed every month in Chicago, for example, by all the violence. And so he just wants to help his community as he sees fit. So he identifies with this Pharaoh character. He says, he has some really advanced powers that he is trying to use to basically, shut down all the crime in the city, mainly in the Black community. He's just trying to make it more peaceful and safe and everything. But the thing is that because he does that, you would think the cops are going to, be glad about him, but they aren't. They see him as also a threat because they don't think he has the right to do that. He doesn't actually, show up in their offices and tell them what he's doing. He just shows up on the streets and stops criminals. So they attack him also because he's interfering with their business as well, and also because there's a lot of corruption in the city and there's a lot of people paid off and stuff in it. So he's interfering with drug trade and everything like that. So there's a lot of powerful people that see him as a threat, even though he's trying to do good, So, but the thing is, he has really advanced abilities that make it very hard for people to track him down or to stop him.
John Dillard's asking, is this based off the black supremacist YouTuber Pharaoh?
I never heard of it. So no.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Neither have I, but
I
that was
have.
the question. So I
You
guess
Yeah.
that answer is no. And
No, he's
you
not a
touched
black
little bit-
supremacist. He's just trying to protect his community for reasons that will be revealed later. But he's somebody. I mean, eventually he'll go branch out. But for starters, he just wants to make his community safe, for people. And it's
Basically
like
be
no
like a
good deed
Batman.
goes unpunished. So he's trying to
Be
do
kind
good.
of like a
but he gets finds it's not so easy.
basically be kind of like a Batman, except if he was like just in his particular part of Gotham, like that
Right,
he grew up in or
exactly.
something. That's interesting.
And you touched a little bit on King Victory for a second, but maybe we can come back to him and say whatever you think you can about him.
King Victory is somebody who he's from the Middle East, and he's somebody who doesn't like all the war and all the killing and all of the insanity. So he's trying to stop it in his way, and he's trying to force some kind of resolution to all of the violence. And he's sort of like a warlike character. He's kind of based on Ares, the god of war, and the look of his design, and on Roman, there's kind of a Roman design to his motif. But he's trying to. He doesn't feel like governments that are involved in these things they feel the politics of it is really preventing real peace from happening. So he's trying to find the real culprits that are the problem and shut them down. But of course, again, when you try to interfere with other people's wars, you're going to be upsetting people that want those wars. It's going to have an effect. So again, this is where that's going.
Right.
All right, give me a sec here. John Dillard said, that is not a joke question. I get the character isn't a black supremacist, just asking if there was a connection.
No.
And Mighty, he's saying it wasn't a joke. He gets it. There's not a connection.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
Okay, Mighty Geek Studios is asking, what's up, everyone? We are interviewing or talking to the creators of the book Agenda. And that is James Hudnall and Matt Cossin. Mighty Geek. We've went over their Indiegogo a little bit earlier, and since we got the writer in, we're going over a few of the characters that are in the book. And so we got a couple on the cover here. Let's see. I think we went through all of them. Anything about the guy? I think you can see it here. The guy from the cover, the guy in the hood behind Insurgent.
Yeah, there's two characters there actually, but I can't tell you about those characters. That's sort of like they're like important to the story, but I don't want to reveal too much about them.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, I'm just trying to think. Oh, the one
Rick.
thing. Yeah, Mandy.
Oh, this is Matt. I just want to ask, you're located in Canada, right? Are the rest of you guys, the moderators, also Canadian, or just wondering?
No. Good Dog lives in Hawaii.
Oh wow.
John
I live
Dillard.
in Goonieville, USA.
John Dillard lives in California, Los Angeles.
Oh, okay.
We've got people from all over here. I'm not sure.
I live in an underground bunker in an anonymous location in the U.S.
That's smart. Hopefully you get the mail there.
Yeah.
So you can get your copy of Agenda to you.
I also
Yeah.
identify as a meat popsicle.
Popsicle.
Yeah, that's the one thing I was talking to Matt about. I messaged him earlier in the week too about. I just realized tonight for the $30 tiers and under, you're not able to get them outside of the U.S. I'm in Canada, and I was really thinking about getting the $30 tier. Is there anything that can be done about that?
Well, one of the problems is I have to really find out what the shipping costs are to various places. And my understanding is shipping to Canada is kind of is a lot more expensive than just like it is locally in the U.S. I have to check what the rates are so I can figure it out because I didn't do that. I didn't do the due diligence of figuring that stuff out. I want to be able to get it out to like Canada, nearby places, like especially Canada and Mexico. But I have to figure out what those costs are, and I will add a tier to do that to make it easy for you. But I just didn't have the time to do that yet. I'll do that this week though, and then I'll add a tier, and you can then do that there. I did add a few tiers because people asked me in Europe. They asked me if I could create a digital tier. So right now there's the $10 digital tier, which you can get a digital copy of it. But for people that want physical copies, I got to figure out what the costs are and factor that in, because the trouble with doing crowdfunding is you can really kill yourself on postage if you're not careful.
Yeah, true. Very true. Have you and you might want to think other places internationally, physically, as you were just saying, because I think you know who Chester Busby is. He's bought a lot of the books, and he's in Japan. So.
Mm-hmm.
So,
speaking of Chester Busby, I would try to get in touch with him about getting on his channel and his show FanSpeak.
Yeah, I was mentioning that to Matt. I was mentioning that to Matt.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. I was mentioning that to Matt earlier about Chester Busby and John Malin's channel, trying to get on them. They're a bigger audience than me, both of them, so you might get a few more books sold through them.
Speaking of Chester Busby, did you send him a link?
Oh, no, I didn't.
True. You could try to send him a link. He might be.
Okay, let's see.
Tell him who's on.
Yeah, tell him Misfits are on. Come on.
Do I got? Oh, there.
Oh, no.
So, James, who were some of your writing influences?
When I started out, a lot of it comes from novel writers, but like James Elroy and Tolkien, and I liked Stephen King at the time. I don't really like him now, but I liked, like various writers that Elmore Leonard, people like that, crime writers mainly. But in comics, my two biggest influences when I started out were Frank Miller and Alan Moore. Those are the two that I really were influenced by. I wanted to be somewhere in between those two, because I really like Alan Moore's writing, but I felt that it was too intellectual for the average person. And I thought that Frank Miller's stuff was really effective emotionally, but I thought it was too emotional to be. I was looking for a sweet spot, because I felt like Frank Miller kind of just went for straight emotion, and it didn't always make sense. It was more like emotional over like making sense plot wise. And then Alan Moore, his stuff is very intellectual to the point where sometimes it's like too heavy and intellectual. And I wanted something that was really entertaining in there, that had the emotional punch of Miller and then the intellectual weight of Moore, but was more accessible to the average person. That's what I was always been going for, basically. But now I just found my own road as my own voice. But when I was starting, that's what was my thought at the time.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Let's see, what do we got here for the chat? Becky says, I'm Okie. You might be able to, is that okay? Or is that where she's from?
Oklahoma.
She's Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okie from Muskogee.
William Reed says, East Coast here, Canada East Coast here.
Okay.
Manuel Correa. I sorry for mispronouncing your last name, Manny.
Pronounce it right.
Manny, stop chilling. Manny, stop chilling for these guys. William Reed says PDFs look great on my iPad. And Adrian says at Good Dog Press, actually, I was trying to imitate a famous radio personality. I messed up.
James.
Yes.
We are caught up with.
Stop cutting me off, Rick. James, were you the creator, writer? I mean, did you create Strike Force Moratorium?
No, the writer was the creator of Strike Force Moratorium was Peter Gillis. I took on the book after he and Brent Anderson left. They were the original creators of that book. And then I took it over, and the artist I was working with was now I'm blanking on his name. It was his first book too. He was later the writer of the Ultimate Spider-Man. I mean, the artist of Ultimate Spider-Man. What's that?
Bendis?
No, Bendis was writer.
No, Bendis was the writer. Who was the artist of the Ultimate Spider-Man?
Bagley.
Bagley, yeah. Mark Bagley.
Oh,
He was
Mark Bagley.
Strike Force Moratorium.
Oh, that was one of my favorite books in high school.
I remember that book.
I used to love that book. That was awesome.
Thank you. Well, I worked on the second half of it, and I also did the Electric Undertow, which was the series that followed it up. It was like a mini series.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I got all the issues to Strike Force. That's for sure.
Cool.
That was my first Marvel book, and I was hired for that book when I was friends with Brent Anderson, and he told me he was leaving that book. So I managed to get to talk to his editor before he decided on who was going to replace him. And so he read Espers and he really liked it, and he gave me the job on the spot. So that was my into Marvel, and that's how my career started over there.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah, I like hearing about those working for the bigger publishers back in like the 90s. It's like I hear it's totally different. You know,
well, I was there in the 80s, the late 80s. And,
okay.
It was totally different, certainly. It was still kind of, it was post Jim Shooter, so Jim Shooter had left, but it was before the craziness of the 90s when, you know, I left Marvel before the craziness started at the 90s where they ended up going bankrupt and firing a lot of people. I would left before that happened. But when I was there, it was nutty because if you were in a Marvel, you could get work doing fill-ins because that's the leftover from Shooter. So if they needed a fill-in story in case the deadlines weren't met by the regular artists, they could put a fill-in in there. So they would hire creators to do fill-in stories, and it'd be like extra work. But the problem with that is during that time is that there was no job security. Everyone wanted to steal each other's books. So like editors were writing and they wanted to take over. They were trying to get other people's jobs. So I had my job on Alpha Flight. There were other editors and people trying to steal my job from me because, you know, so they kept coming up to my editor and saying, you know, they want to write the book. And the editor fortunately said no. So I was luckily able to stay there. But eventually I lost because the editor left and the next editor just wanted to put somebody else in there. And, you know, it's like there's just not a lot of job security back then. And there never is really in comics. It's still that way, but it's more structured now, I guess. But it was really a crazy time when I was over there.
What do you feel that the creator own gives you more security in some ways?
Absolutely. Well, I to be honest, I never wanted to be a mainstream writer. You know, a lot of people in my generation, especially, they wanted to get in comics so they could be the Hulk writer or the Batman writer or something. And I never wanted that. I didn't feel that was something to do because, you know, my big influence was Jack Kirby as a kid growing up, and Jack Kirby created his own stuff and he created new stuff. And, you know, I really didn't dig or respect people that just wanted to take other people's characters and then write them. To me, you should create new stuff. You shouldn't just swipe somebody. It's like hip hop where they just sample other people's music. I don't dig that. I don't appreciate that. I like people who can come up with their own stuff and their own ideas. So I really just worked at Marvel and DC long enough to get a name for myself, but I really didn't want to stay there. I was always interested in doing creator-owned stuff, and that's generally most of my work has been creator-owned.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah,
okay. Okay, just a sec. Joshua Hughes wants me to ask James, which Teen Titan do you like more,
gosh.
Raven or Starfire?
Jeez.
I went through this.
It's a loaded
Answer
question.
Well, I didn't watch the TV show, and I don't intend to, because I'm friends with Marv Wolfman, and I read his comic back in the day when it was new. And
do you know how he feels about the show?
no, I haven't talked to him since it came out. I haven't talked to him in over a year, but I usually talk to him at cons, and I haven't seen him in a year or two. But he was at Comic Fest here in San Diego last year. But I'm sure he's happy to get the if they're paying him. I hope he'll get some money out of it. But it's just from the look of it. I mean, I hear that there's people that say it's good. I don't know. But as far as the characters go, it's hard to say. I think Raven is interesting because of, the sort of supernatural aspect of it. But Starfire, to me, is kind of a more personable character. Excuse me. I like that she's more like a upbeat character. That's usually not something you see in comics that much. You just see a lot of dour, unhappy people in comics.
Good answer.
Okay. Question for James and for Matt. How did you two meet and decide to do this project together?
Well, I'm friends with Batten Lash, and he had a studio in Normal Heights, which is a neighborhood in San Diego. He doesn't have it anymore, but at the time it was in the back of a gallery, and he had like a little studio back there. And they had an open house, and there was a bunch of people from the arts community that showed up, and Matt happened to be there with his brother, and so they already knew Batten, so he introduced us, and we just started talking, and that's kind of where it started. But when I first started talking to them, I mentioned that it might be cool if we could work together, but he was like not sure about that. He didn't know me, and he's like, I don't know, maybe he didn't really say anything. It took a while. I had to work on it. I just met him, over different times. We just talked again and again, and finally he got interested.
Sounds like Nasser.
Now I can tell you his side of the story. That's how I saw it at the time.
Yeah, I when I talked to James, I was like, no, I met a lot of different comic writers and professionals, and a lot of times they'll like always, they want to get projects going, but then it never takes off. But on this time though, it was me on my end. I was like, trying to jump in between different jobs and hustling to get some work going, and I thought, I just kind of felt like, yeah, I should hook up with James to work on this project because, there's a lot of guys, like I said, the writers who want to hook up to start something, and that's a lot of time involved. And once you do that, you got to be really it's something that you like or love. So a project that you really have no problem devoting your time to. So it took me a while. Because like I said, in between other jobs, trying to make some money to pay the bills, but I was like, man, I'm going to get going on this book because I know this book will do good. I was reading the script and I'm like, man, I'm going to get going on it, really just dig in and start going for it. So it took me a while, but I'm glad James was patient enough to wait around for me too. And yeah, I'm excited about it right now.
Yes.
Constantly.
Okay, let's see. Let's catch up on the chat here a little bit. Mighty Geek Studio says, I love the idea of creating my own stuff. Burning One says, hello. John Dillard says, oh, damn, you done up now. Joshua Hughes says, Raven is more interesting than Starfire. Raven greater than Starfire. He didn't say, John Dillard, he didn't say Raven. Joshua Hughes.
Blackfire.
Well, both Raven.
Blackfire.
Pope
Welcome to
Raven
the
said,
seventh circle.
Starfire.
Pope Raven says, I heard him say he loves Raven. He thinks Raven is the best character ever. Adrian, nope, sure didn't. And then Adrian says, you heard only the parts you wanted to hear. Joshua Hughes says, that's that. Just his uninformed, misguided, and wrong opinion. Adrian says, sure. Pope Raymond says, also, I heard him say that he doesn't like Adrian and thinks Adrian is a creep and should go away. Mighty King says, Matt, are you a diehard Jim, whatever, I guess the t-shirt on your
Steranko.
Steranko.
Yeah, Steranko.
Love that shirt, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I got that at the official. He's the official representative, the booth at San Diego Comic-Con. I met him once, Steranko. He's really cool, man. He's like a character himself. But I don't know. He hasn't come, and I don't know why they haven't invited him or what. But he hasn't come for the last few years to San Diego. That is, and he used to do a Jim Steranko at night, I think it was called, and you pay like a certain amount of money, and you could hang out with them after con, and you could shoot the breeze with them, show your portfolio or whatever. And
Cool.
I think it was Steranko. Yeah, but his Twitter feed, he had a Twitter feed where he was going on about his fighting gangs in the school when he was in high school. I think it was. That was really
Wow.
cool read. Yeah,
I know,
he made the zip gun.
So I guess that's a fan. I guess that's a yes to you being a diehard fan.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Heard of
I
him.
don't know if he's gotten in trouble with cons because of some of his political leanings or what. Because I know like there
That
was
might be
some big outcry like a couple years back over some of the things he said on Twitter.
I think he said some. He might have said something positive concerning Trump. I think at one point, I agreed with him on some point, and then that was when. I mean, it's still kind of heated now, but that was when it was really, hot fire, like tempers and everything. So people kind of like, here he is. He's like, he's old school. He's not from the era where people go bonkers over. I mean, even recently they weren't this bad.
Yeah, I wish I wasn't from that era of when people go bonkers over this crap.
Yeah, it's turned a lot of people off, I think, and that's why they're looking for alternative, books even now. I mean, you're kind of seeing it spill over into entertainment. Like I was watching the Blacklist TV show on Netflix, and I was like really into that show, and I still am, but I'm kind of catching up. I'm behind because I'm on Netflix, but there's a few episodes where they just started going on like these short little like diatribes, like just that don't fit the story. It's just like throw in like a guy says a speech, about white supremacy or something that's like what? Out of the blue. It's like it doesn't fit the story. It's not woven into the story, and you're kind of like, oh, I know what they're doing. It's like
sounds about the accurate way they tell stories nowadays.
Yeah, and people I think in general are just getting tired of it, even if you do agree with. It's just like, oh, come on,
That's the other thing that I'm doing this because of the nature of the industry right now. It's become so polemical and one-sided politically and everything. And although this comic isn't necessarily political, in that I don't attack anyone or anything, but it is sort of like an expose on a lot of things in society that I don't like, that they won't, the mainstream publishers wouldn't touch. They wouldn't touch this book with a 20-foot pole, because it touches on sensitive areas that they don't want to deal with. But I am not afraid to deal with those things. And, I'm interested in reality. I'm not interested in crap bullshit, So, and people are sick of being preached to, it's gotten to be so ridiculous and one-sided. I just feel like doing something that's honest and fun. That's the other thing. A lot of comics, I think, are not fun anymore. They're just like...
Tell me about it.
There's screechy political rants that are just like by one-sided people that they want to impose their views on everyone. And I'm not like that. I want to just kind of like show a lot of things that they don't want to believe or understand, but it's reality. Reality doesn't care what you think. It's reality,
Right.
And the story should be entertaining. It shouldn't be you shouldn't be preached to. You know, you should be entertained. I don't want to spend $5 to be screamed at by somebody.
Right. Yeah, I know there's this writer I listened to his podcast, Writing Excuses. His name's Brandon Sanderson, and he always talks about how, as a writer, it's a good idea to take a character and make them the opposite of what your viewpoint is in real life. And it sounds like you haven't really picked sides as far as like where your character, as far as what characters may have your viewpoint, but you're wanting to present all viewpoints in this book.
Yeah, not in a wishy-washy way, though.
Right,
I mean,
right.
every character has a strong viewpoint.
Yeah, well,
But-
he says you should write the character like they're, even if they don't take your, like, if they don't agree with your opinion in real life, if you're writing that character, you should write them like you do agree with them in real life.
Oh, well, I agree with that.
Conviction.
I mean, Alan Moore, one of the things that I think Alan Moore did right with Watchmen is he really detested Rorschach as a human being, as a character. He was the opposite of everything Alan Moore is for. But the thing is, everyone, you know, generally speaking, Rorschach is the most popular character in that book because Alan Moore imbued humanity in that character. He thought that character through. He didn't just put a joke character that he hated, you know, some Nazi guy that he hates. He gave the guy depth, you know, even though he made the guy a pathetic person, he still gave him like depth so that you understand where he's coming from. You would feel something for him.
Right.
Even though he's an extremist, you know, you can understand why he's an extremist. You know, he's not just an extremist for the sake of being an extremist. And that's what you got to do is you got to imbue humanity in your characters. They got to be people that you can believe in and care about. And that's my whole philosophy as well.
Okay, true.
Yeah.
Let me get back to the chat here. Joshua Hughes, this is up a bit. It was saying about James' opinion. That's for the Starfire Raven thing. Then Becky says Matt and Alex Toth fan. And then Manuel says, "What is Manny drawing? What are you drawing, Manny?"
Oh, glad you asked there, Rick. What I'm drawing is I'm drawing the gate for an upcoming comic book that will be on Indiegogo. It will be with Tank, Cross, Manny, and John Dillard. This is just part of the cover. It's going to be the title of the book is Tales from Beyond the Gate, and it's going to be a horror anthology, short stories all put together by us. The
Yeah, I think I'm in that too.
awesome. And
Oh,
Adrian.
looks nice.
Okay, now on with the rest of the chat. Okay, Adrian says, "I'm a huge Alex Toth fan. Toth and Steve Ditko." Then Good Dog asks again what he's drawing.
Well, he was ignoring me.
No, I was letting our guest talk.
Yes.
Okay, Mighty Geek says Jim Storico, or however you pronounce that name.
Aranko.
Steranko. Escape artist and comic book writer and artist. Becky says Jim Williamson is awesome. And Pratt. Adrian says make comics fun again. Hashtag make comics fun again. Joshua Hughes says reality doesn't care about your feelings. Becky says comics are getting political and pushing one gender. And then Joshua says, and the reality is that Raven is better than Starfire. And Pope Raven retracted the message. So we are now caught up with the chat.
I'm sure they're thoroughly confused by this whole Pope Raven Starfire stuff.
No, we're not.
My only problem with Raven, I don't have a problem with Raven except I don't really like Trigon, her father. He just seems like a one-note character. And so I think Trigon kind of ruins Raven for me because if he was a more interesting character, then she would be more interesting to me. But because she's just like somebody who's, you know, has been abused by her father, it's, you know, metaphorically, I guess. But it just seems, I wish there was a little bit more subtlety to that whole thing. But I mean, I think Raven is an interesting character. I'm not picking sides on the Raven Starfire show. I think they're interesting in their own way, actually, but they're not my characters. I don't really have a favorite, to be honest.
Okay. Hold on a sec. The Eagle 43 wants me to ask James what his opinion is on the Shadow.
I didn't get that. Was that for me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is your opinion on the Shadow? I guess the old character, the Shadow.
Oh, the Shadow. I'm not really a fan of 30s pulp characters like the Shadow and Duck Savage and all those that have like these big teams of helpers. I prefer characters who can do things on their own or can think things through. I don't mind them having one or two people in their crew, but these characters that are like billionaires that have, 30 people helping them and they all have specializations, I just don't really dig the thing. So I know about the Shadow, but I'm not like a huge fan.
Andrew.
I just think that that's sort of that was before my time, actually, and it's just not my. I'm more like into like Robert E. Howard or Lovecraft, people like that from the 30s, than I am the pulp heroes like Duck Savage, and I'm just not as crazy about those things. They're okay, but I just wasn't into them.
You read any Howard's non-Conan stories, like his boxing stories and stuff?
I've read.
Yeah.
I've got like somewhere in storage. I have like all of his books, and I also was a big Edgar Rice Burroughs fan. I read everything of his, and I was a fan of like I say, Lovecraft and August Derleth, and there was a bunch of 30s writers that I followed. It was like a phase of my late teens, I guess, to read that stuff. I was really into it till I was about 20. Then I got into other stuff, but that was like between the age of like 17 and 20, I was into those books.
Cool. And just to let people know who are out there listening and coming in, although we've had 21 viewers for quite some time, we are talking with Matt Cossin and James Hudnall from their book on Indiegogo, The Agenda.
I'd just like to add to if you're one of the 21 people watching, hit the like button, please.
Yes, click that like button, and if you've yet to subscribe, please subscribe. Also, subscribe to John Dillard and Tank and Manny, Good Dog Press.
Don't forget me, James Hudnall. My YouTube channel is Esper999.
Okay, John, if you can find that and put a link to it in the chat, it would be nice. Or Manny, but Manny's drawing. So,
Matt, do you have a channel?
Yes, it's just my name, Matt Cossin, no space, MattCossin, and I'm going to be doing some videos at least a few times a week, at least.
I have to subscribe to both of you guys.
Cool.
Yeah, same here.
I'd like to interview you, Matt, shortly, so we can do that.
Yeah.
And are you guys on Twitter or anything else as well, or?
Yes, I'm on Twitter. I have James D. Hudnall as my Twitter address. I also have the Freedom Forge, which is the publisher that we're publishing Agenda under. That also has a Twitter page. And Freedom Forge also has a page on Facebook, and I also have a page on Facebook, James Hudnall. So you can check out my Facebook page as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mike Miller's talked about your Freedom Force quite a bit before. Yeah. I remember him talking about that quite often.
I appreciate that. Well, it's, I created it to be a hub for creative people, to have a place where we can publish freely and not be constrained by the industry, that we can do our own kind of comics and not be oppressed by the hive mind, as I call it. I'm more interested in, like, I've always been a person that's a free thinker, and I don't really appreciate having anything forced on me. So, and it just seems like the industry has this blacklisting people that doesn't agree with its politics, which to me is, is horrible. And I feel it's like with the Comicsgate thing, they're trying to establish that anyone who supports Comicsgate is evil and racist, et cetera, which is not true at all. What they're saying is we don't believe anyone should criticize our comics. So like Richard Meyer, Comics and Diversity, they don't feel he has the right to complain about their books being so crappy. But, he has a right. He's a critic. He has a right to, he bought the books himself. He paid money for them. He has a right to complain if he doesn't like them. It's just a review. It's not a mean review. They act like he's the most evil person on earth, and he's not at all. It's ridiculous.
I mean, honestly, I've been in a lot of like comic book groups throughout the years, and this is probably one of the most diverse group of people I've been interacting with for about a year now. It's crazy the amount of like different people you meet in Comicsgate.
Oh, absolutely. Look, this is a thing. They like to attack people. They like to accuse people of what they do. So they like to accuse people of being racist. They like to accuse people of being sexist or whatever. But they are the ones that are doing that, not us. I mean, we don't care. I don't care if they're gay. I don't care if they're black. I don't care. I really don't care.
Right.
I don't have any problem with it. But they are the ones that are telling us that we're the ones. And that's just a lie. And you know what? What happens is when you lie like they do, eventually it's going to come back on you because people can see through it. They can read their Twitter feeds and see what their Twitter feeds are like versus our Twitter feeds.
Right. Yeah.
It's very simple. It's very easy to see who's the liar here. And some of the worst offenders in the anti-Comicsgate, those people, they're like people like Mark Waid and Gail Simone, people like that. They're making themselves out to be villains. They think that they're the heroes in this story, but they're the villains. And it's becoming clear as time goes on. All they're doing is destroying themselves in their effort to destroy us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's for the whole world to see,
Oh,
Yep.
Absolutely. I chuckle quite often.
I think it's bad to an extent, but then it's their own pathologies that are destroying them. They've got personality defects, because if to hate other people like they do, to spend their time, so much of their energy attacking people when they shouldn't. I mean, like I don't even care about them or their books or anything. I don't even read their books, and I don't care what they write. They can write whatever they want. But when they start lying about me or other people, when they start trying to defame us, then they should not be allowed to do that. That's just wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's catching up with them, as we see in the lawsuits and all that happening.
Yeah, I think stuff's starting to come out, especially with Mark Waid. It seems like there's some stuff that's just, it's like the lawsuit was the kind of like the kick in the pants to start bringing stuff out about the guy more and more.
That's the thing. When you go around and attack people like that and you lie about them, then people that have previous grudges are gonna start coming out of the woodwork, and that's what's happening.
Yeah, it's a matter of time, and hopefully, on the positive note, hopefully this will kind of stymie any further, actions like trying to stop people from smearing their name, trying to stop them from having income, stop them from producing like they did with Antarctic Press. It's like, I mean, I can't believe it that someone would do that, just go behind someone's back and try to convince a publisher to drop their book. I mean, that's their livelihood, and to do that, even if I don't like somebody, agree with them, I would never do that because, like you said, it's a villainous thing to do, really.
Right.
And people are seeing it.
I mean, why I got involved in Comicsgate, like I was a lurker in the communities, but it was when Mark Waid did what he did to Richard C. Meyer and Antarctic Press that was like the Kickstarter for me. I was like, nah.
Son, who was 16, which I was surprised he follows the Comicsgate thing, and he said it inspires him to want to create and draw. It just gives him energy. And I remember being like that age, going to Comic Cons, different comic conventions, and being able to talk and stand with artists and ask them questions face to face. It just made me want to go home and draw. And that's basically what this is like. It's like an online con. You're constantly in contact with your artists that you look up to, or Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a great time, really. As
Yeah.
ugly
Yeah,
as
that's
it
the
can get.
thing. We have the ability to talk to each other now better, more than ever, and we can, and you can really see who's crazy and who isn't. I mean, we're all getting along. We're not trying to kill each other, and
Yeah.
we're not screaming at each other. And we disagree about things like who's the better comic book character, or whatever. But I mean, it's all in good fun. We love comics, and we just want to do good comics or create them or read them. There's nothing wrong with that. And the idea of you have to obey us or else type of mentality, that's just ridiculous. It really is like something out of a comic book in itself. It's like something
Yeah.
some lame character villain would say.
Yeah. Interesting times we're in. Like I've saw a couple people make comments on Comicsgate sites and the chat, and they're like, I don't even read comics, but I'm so into this. It's like a drama unfolding every day, so I'm just keeping track and seeing what's happening next. And it's funny, there's a lot of guys on there. Yeah, I don't even read comics, but one guy said he started getting into comics because of Comicsgate. Like he came to listen to the drama, and then started picking up a couple of books, and then now he's a regular comic book reader. So there's some good happening.
I think so.
James, what's your YouTube again? I just want to
It's
try and
Esper,
find
ESPER 999.
SPER.
No, ESPER 999.
Okay. Putting this stuff in the thing, so. Okay, and it just says James. I hope this is you. You got like 7 videos, right? Only 7
Yeah.
videos? Okay.
One of them is agenda, so it should be a clue.
Are you guys on?
Yeah.
I
Are you
really
guys on
enjoyed that
Indie?
video.
Are you guys on Indicron?
Indicron? No, we're not.
Yeah.
I could. What is?
Yeah. Yes, they are. I'm pretty sure they are.
Are they? Okay.
I heard about Indicron, but I wasn't sure what that was. Mike mentioned that. What is
It's
Indicron
basically
exactly? Because
it's basically a directory of Comicsgate comics and where they're at on their campaigns.
Oh, right. Yeah, I am on that because they automatically followed us, and they actually did a pretty good little. I read it today that they had a really good little blurb on agenda in there.
Yeah.
So once again, Ricky's right. Did his homework. He knows.
The guy that started the fan edition of Drawn and Quartered, Pixel Trader, he's the one that runs that site now.
Okay, great. Well, I'm friends with Mike Miller. He's a local artist here in San Diego, and I've known him for years. Like I've known Matt, and he's a pretty cool guy. So I've been on his show, and probably going to be on it a bit more. So, and I know Ethan too, somewhat, not as much, but so those two guys are big supporters, and I really appreciate their the attention they've given to us so far.
Yeah, thanks to them.
And everybody's links are now in the description for Matt. Both of yours for your channel individually, and for you and your brother Mike. I put that in there too. And James is in the description for anybody that wants to grab it afterwards. Let's try and stay on here while we're talking to them. Hopefully people will be back. We lost a few viewers shortly after I announced what we were doing, but hopefully they will
go
be
check
back.
it out.
They probably want to.
Hey, at least to check it out. As long as they're contributing to the campaign, we give them a pass, right?
Yeah.
I'd like to crack 4,000. I mean, sorry. Yeah, 4,000. We just need 200, less than $200 to crack to be at 4,000 tonight.
Oh, cool.
Great.
Wow, yeah.
All right.
It was like.
Evidently, Pope Raven wants me to go back to lurking.
Yeah,
he wants to be a lurk.
Try and get this up another 100. Well, 151. Let's get these guys over the 4,000 marker at night.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Or to this because hopefully people that are listening to this later can support. I've just subscribed to both of your channels myself.
Thank you.
Likewise.
Thank you.
So
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
I'm going to start doing regular videos. I haven't been, but I'm still trying to crack this Google Hangout thing. I tried to do a Google Hangout interview with a couple people, and I had trouble getting it to work properly. I don't know what I was doing wrong. It's like it should be simple, but
if you ever need any advice, look to
I
me.
definitely would like that, because everyone I know that has done this, they're usually really busy, so it's hard to get a hold of them. But I would appreciate that if you could give me the time.
I helped Manny out, Good Dog Press, for him getting on. So that's easy enough for me. You can contact me via Twitter, Instagram, all those things. Facebook, I'm on Facebook too. So
Okay, cool.
Yeah, thanks, Rick.
And all my links are in the description as well. Matt's, I think, already on my YouTube, not my YouTube, my Facebook stuff.
Yeah, I'm on your subscribe list on Cross Comics too.
Okay. Oh, we got some of our people back. We're back up at 20. Yay.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Not sure whether it's new people or other people just returning after checking out all that stuff. Anybody in the chat got any questions for these guys with agenda or anything else within reason?
Yeah.
James, you've been a huge inspiration for me as a to launch a project that's been far too long in the works. What advice would you have for people who are looking to produce a good piece of literature?
When you say literature, do you mean a book or a comic?
Whatever. Take your pick, sir.
Well, first of all, I don't know how much you know about writing, so I would suggest getting my book. I don't want to be a pimp here, but I wrote a really good book on writing that people like. If you haven't read it, it's called The Secrets of Writing. It's available on Amazon or at other D booksellers. You can buy the physical copy on Amazon. But really, it's important to write something that is relevant and not, like you can write a fantasy story or science fiction or whatever, but the story has to mean something to the people that read it. You can't know what that is. You can't know if the person who reads it is going to find meaning in it. But if you go for universal truths, I think the key to making a story that lasts the test of time is that there are things in it that answer questions that sort of have truth to it. There's about subjects that people find meaning in. So if you look at any story in history that is still around, that people still read, the secret to those longevity of those works is that they have something in them that speaks to people over the years. Like they got universal truth in them. They're about, and they're also personal for the writer put a lot of personal life and energy into the story, so it feels, it's like, it doesn't matter if the story is fantastic or realistic. It has to have life in it that you can relate to, that you can believe in, even if the story is not realistic. Like say Alice in Wonderland, for example, that's really fantastical, but it was full of all these it was a lot of stuff in Alice in Wonderland was actually political commentary for stuff at the time the story was written, but it has universal truths in it. Even though it's like really extreme, you can kind of get the subtext of the story, and that's why people still like that story like hundreds of years later. And it's the same thing with comics. If you have something in there that people can really like and latch onto, it's just like when you were talking about Espers and how you really liked that story. There was something about that affected you for some reason. And that is me reaching out, that was because I put into that story things that I was passionate about or thought about. And that transferred to you as the reader. If it's done correctly, the stuff that you put into your story will transfer to the reader and they'll be able to relate to it, So that's what you got to kind of feel or get a feeling for that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
That like to this day, my go-to term for somebody with psionic abilities is an esper.
Okay.
That's in my vernacular. What was the name of that book, and where can people buy it? We'd love to shill here.
Well, the best place I think to get it is Amazon, and it's called The Secrets of Writing. Just search on James Hudnall, The Secrets, and on Amazon just type in James Hudnall Secrets, and it should pop up.
Okay.
Yeah,
Becky Yard from the chat asked, for all the artists, what is your least favorite thing to draw? Adrian, you're an artist, aren't you, Adrian? Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's your least favorite thing to draw?
Probably animals. I'm still working on drawing animals and backgrounds. I get bored drawing backgrounds a lot of times.
Yeah.
Manny,
Yes,
what is your least favorite thing to draw?
I'm not an artist.
No, I said Manny, not James.
Oh, sorry.
I don't like drawing cougars.
Okay, there's an inside joke.
Nice tie-in.
All day long. Beautiful. Look at that. Look at her.
Okay.
All hail skunk girl.
Yeah. Yes, we see the skunk. It's stinky.
Stinks of
Does
mud.
does she smell like sweet, like heavenly, or does she smell bad?
If you're a man, you cannot resist her. She smells heavenly.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice.
So
But if
Matt,
you're a woman,
what is
you're a
your
woman,
least favorite thing?
You're in danger.
that those markings say it all. Yeah. My favorite, the worst thing, or let's see. My favorite thing, the least favorite thing to draw
least
would
favorite
be.
thing to draw.
Oh man, it would probably be. I'd say different like technology, coming up with technologies like I think coming up with concepts of technology. I don't want to totally. I have to look for reference, but I don't want to totally take from that. So I try to create something that's like, I know there's a lot of guys out there who can, for instance, draw a robot and just like make a really cool robot. They just make these really sick looking designs. And I know I can't compete with that, so I kind of try to take it from a different point of view. I try to do an unconventional maybe way where it's not as maybe cool looking, but it's cool in a different way, whether it's goofy looking or whatever. So, but yeah, technology, I like it. I love robot designs like Gundam and all that stuff, and I don't want to spike any of that.
So advanced technology, basically.
Yeah, but I'm trying to learn how to enjoy everything that I draw for comics, because then if I do, then I actually get into it. It becomes easier. And so like I used to hate backgrounds. Now I love drawing backgrounds because I would force myself to draw backgrounds. And now it's like one of my favorite things because it draws you into the story a lot of times.
Right.
Cool. Tank, what's your least favorite thing to draw?
Portraits. Because I'm such a perfectionist. Like with comic book work, it's okay. I can go with it. Can be okay as long as it's consistent. I'll let it slide. But with portraits, they're so time consuming, and I don't like to do them because it's too much stress. So I intentionally overcharge. If they really want it that badly, okay, fine.
Yeah, at least you're getting something out of this discomfort, right?
Yeah, I need
like
compensation for my pain and suffering.
Okay, and as for me, I would probably say background and vehicles. I'm not the best at them. I haven't practiced.
Like drawing Canadian Shield.
I like drawing them. I just like drawing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, drawing people you know is harder because then they go, I don't look like that.
And
yeah.
Go ahead, Tank.
I usually do them out of charity. Like the last one I did was because a respected member of the Legion had passed away. I'm a member of the American Legion, and so and it was sudden and very tragic, and so they had a memorial that unfortunately I was working during, but my present was a portrait, a pen and ink portrait. He was actually famous. He crossed the Columbia Bar here in Oregon more times than anybody else in history. And it's one of the most
Cool.
dangerous waterways in the
I was
world.
going to try and rephrase the question for John. What is your least favorite thing to write about?
Let's let James take
sorry.
the lead on this.
To be honest, there isn't anything because I try to find something interesting. If I have to write about something, I try to find something interesting about it to make it interesting. That's your job as a writer. Because I had to write technical journals and stuff like that. So I feel the most important thing you should do as a writer is make it interesting, whatever it is that you're writing about, even if it's a technical journal or history book or whatever. You've got to find the thing that makes it interesting and kind of you got to make it interesting for the reader, because otherwise you're going to lose them. So if something isn't interesting, then you research to see what it is that might be interesting about it,
Yeah.
Amen to that.
Yeah, that's
Amen.
good.
Hold on. Joshua, and take this for what it is worth, which isn't much, wants me to ask James if he is actually the Zodiac Killer.
I was only 13 when he started his career, so I did live in Northern California when he made his first kill, which is in Oroville Lake, and it happens to be fairly close to where I was living at the time. I was living in Chico, California, but I was just a kid, and he was like an adult man, so it's obviously not me.
So I got a question for you, James. Do you write full script when you write for comics, or what's your process?
Yes, I write a full script. I believe in that because I really didn't like the Marvel style of writing, which was prevalent when I was in the business. They had in their mind, because Stan Lee did it, that's how you're supposed to write comics over at Marvel. That's what their mentality was. But it's really like Marvel style is just for lazy people. If you're really if you're really a writer, okay, you've got to control the flow of the story. You got to understand how it breaks down. And so you have to break it down in a script, because otherwise you're just making up. I mean, there's a lot of comic art, especially when I was in the business, when I was more active in the business. There was a lot of comic books artists back in the 80s and 90s. They wanted to just be given like the loosest thing so they could just draw whatever they wanted. But really, to me, that's like insulting to the reader, because as a writer, I have to stick up for the writing of the story. And I don't believe it should just be like a sandbox for somebody to draw dinosaurs or whatever they were into. It should be something that, even if, that's what the artist is good at drawing, the story has to be compelling and interesting. Because otherwise, people may remember the art, but they're going to forget the comic or the story. If there's no story, if the characters are nothing, I just really don't believe in that whole thing. Just to give you like a little aside, it was really common back in the day for writers at Marvel to write the following: page 6 through 8, big fight, go nuts. That was like their writing of a scene was big fight, go nuts. That was like a common thing, and that to me is ridiculous. They just expect the artist to do all the work, which is what Stan Lee pretty much did with Kirby and Ditko. Is you let them, because they were good storytellers. But you see, a lot of comic book artists are not good storytellers, especially beginners. They don't understand what needs to be done, and a writer should kind of control the pacing and everything, because the story has to flow at an appropriate pace, and the energy of it has to build. You have to make it build towards a dramatic scene or whatever, or make it funny. You have to work it out, the timing and everything, and that's what writing's about. Writing is not just telling somebody to draw. Like one comic artist writer. I mean, sorry, there's a famous writer who wrote a script for a friend of mine was handed, and it was supposed to be a 15-page story, and the script that he got from this writer was 1 page, and it said, "You know the story of this character, right? Well, draw it." That was the script.
Oh my goodness.
To me, that's not writing. And somebody got
That's
paid
insane.
for that stupid script. I mean, that's just insulting.
That's pretty lazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be insulted.
I just feel insulted that somebody could get away with that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
insulted as a fan.
You should be. You know what? I mean, the reason the industry has got its problems is because there's so many lazy hacks out there. They're just taking advantage of it. They were just getting paid because they were friends with somebody, or they were, that kind of stuff just really annoyed me when I was in the business. And it really kind of bugged me the longer I was in the business, because I would see people who I knew weren't putting any effort in. They were getting a lot of work, and it's just because they were friends with a lot of people. And it was just, to me, I always say that comics is like high school, only more depressing, It's like, it's clicks, and it's a bunch of,
Yeah,
like,
it is.
egotistical little brats that are running things. And I just didn't dig that particularly, to be honest. It still bugs me to this day. When a year or two ago, I went to the Eisner. Last year I was a guest at the Comic-Con. I got the Inkpot Award, and so I went to the Eisner's because I was invited as a guest to the con, and I just sitting there watching these people come up, and it was all like a bunch of virtue signaling and a bunch of people patting themselves on the back for like really craptacular comics, And I was just like, oh man, I was just really getting. It was just depressing, and I just had to leave because the industry just bugs me sometimes,
Yeah.
There is a lot of really good
Hold
comics
up a
out there.
sec.
I was going to say, I was an Eisner judge 1 year, and I did have to read a lot of comics, and there is some really good comics being produced. It's just that the nature of the industry makes it so that certain people get all the attention, and a lot of good stuff gets left to the wayside,
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Yeah. Okay, hold on a sec, guys. Manny had to leave, so he's probably not listening, but goodbye. Hopefully see you Monday sometime. And Becky Yard was saying, for all the artists, what's your favorite art medium? Is it such as, charcoal, watercolor, digital? And I guess we'll start with Adrian again. What's your favorite medium? Adrian?
I'm mostly just I'm a big sucker for black and white work, honestly, because I guess it comes from my love of indie books and my love of manga in general. So I just like to do, ink drawings more than anything. Only in like the last 3 years have I got into digital, and only in the last year and a half I've really got into digital. So that'd probably be my answer: inks, pen and ink, and pencils.
Cool. Matt?
Yeah.
What's your favorite medium to use?
Probably pen and ink as well. I mean, I also do paintings. I do watercolor, acrylics, and markers. I like using the Copic markers. I've been doing a lot of that lately too. And one of the techniques I've done recently is I'll do all Copic marker gray tone, and then scan it into computer and then just drop overlay color on top. So it has a digital but also a painterly feel to it. So
cool.
I like that type thing too.
Cool. Tank, your favorite?
Definitely pen and ink. I do like using digital, especially like to finish my artwork. But when it comes down to something that like the tangible piece, definitely I'm a big fan of pen and ink. I like to use like white and black acrylics as well to
I think we
flesh out
have.
the effect.
Well, I think
Yeah.
we have a unanimous pencils and inks because I am that
Yes,
too because
right.
it's what
Yeah.
I've worked with the most. It's what I know the best. Although I have been exploring digital for about the last 6 months or so, and I've been dabbling in paint and all that for years, but nowhere near that big of stuff.
Well,
So,
gentlemen, I have to bid you adieu.
okay,
I have to get
Yeah.
running here.
okay,
Yeah, it's
I will.
starting to get
It
late.
was fantastic
Yeah.
meeting you guys. I'm gonna look you guys
Yeah.
up and hunt you down on your social medias, and
Great.
I will definitely love to be in touch because I love this
Yeah,
kind
I'll
of
be doing
stuff.
the same. I'll be
My
doing the
bread and
same
butter.
thing.
yeah.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
And
Yeah.
All right.
Mighty
Take
Geek
it easy,
Studio
Tank.
says, "I love that word, craptacular."
Thank you guys, and for everybody out there, you can find me on most social media at Tank
For
Ferret
everybody out there,
Art.
go check out Tank's site. There's nothing there yet, but he's going to be up soon. His link is in the description. Also, check out Good
Cool.
Dog Presses. He is in the description as well.
Make sure you
Cool. I'll
hit
check
that.
it out.
Make sure you hit that notification bell because when I do my inaugural live cast, I'm going to be giving out tons and tons of goodies for the upcoming release of 2065 Retribution, featuring Scalpel Zero. Good night, folks.
Night.
See you,
Good night,
Tank.
folks.
Good night.
Okay, see ya.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna be getting out of here too. It was nice talking to Matt and James. Uh,
Yeah,
Yeah,
good
I'm
talking
gonna
to you
be
too.
looking
It's
at.
Adrian, right?
I'll be. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, that's it.
I
Cool.
I have Facebook, so I don't have a Twitter. I'm gonna set up a Twitter and a YouTube channel and all that. But I'll be searching you guys out on social media as well. So look for me.
Cool.
Great.
Yes, I'm on Facebook as well.
Okay,
All right.
okay.
Take
So,
it easy,
yeah,
guys. Take it easy, Cross.
I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, see you in a couple days, Adrian. I
Have a
guess
good
that's
one.
probably about it. We're losing subscribers or viewers fast now. Uh, okay, so Matt, give your tell all about your stuff. Give as Ethan would say, give your 30-second or 1 minute elevator pitch for agenda.
Elevator agenda. See, elevator a pitch. That sounds like a tier. Elevator agenda. Yeah. I would say that it's going to be a fun book. It's a fun book to draw right now. It's going to have a lot of interesting things. I want to make it really interesting because I really like what James is doing right now. I'm reading the script, and it's the way he writes. He gives you enough information where it leaves room for you to try to invent and interpret it, and it conjures up enough imagery in your mind. So what I spit out onto the page is like me, influenced by James, what he wrote. So I hope it's interesting for him to look at and see, but also the viewer. I want the readers to be like James said, to have fun with it, to be intrigued and entertained, and walk away with some inspiration, hopefully too.
Okay, and where can they reach you, people?
Well, I'm on Facebook under my name at Cossin, Cossin, as well as YouTube and Instagram. I post a lot on Instagram as well under my name, Matt.Cossin. And yeah, I have a Twitter. I haven't been active on it, but I'm going to probably start doing it so I can post some stuff up. But yeah, pretty much the usual social. Oh, and then our website, Kingmakers Comics with an X at the end of comics, x.com
Okay.
is also our website.
And
So yeah.
James, what about you? Give your 1 minute pitch, elevator pitch, as Ethan would say, for agenda.
Okay, agenda is about what if superheroes in the real world, if there were real people trying to change the world, and how would that affect everything, by their actions. It's sort of like if you ever fantasized about what you would do if you had superpowers. That's sort of an exploration of that idea. And it's also going places that other comic book companies would never go. Also, I would just say that if you want to check out my stuff, my channel, my webpage is jameshudnall.com, also thehud.com. Both will get you to the same place, thehud.com or jameshudnall.com. And I'm also on Facebook. Just search my name. And I'm also on Twitter, James D. Hudnall. And I'm on YouTube at Esper999. That's my channel. And I'm also on a few other places like LinkedIn and I don't know. I'm also on IMDb. I have an
Oh.
IMDb page, and I also, if you can search my name on Amazon, you'll find tons of books that I've written. So if you're curious about that, I've written some novels as well, and I have a lot of comics and graphic novels out there, plus my book, The Secrets of Writing, which I really recommend if you're interested in writing at all.
Yeah, it's a good book. Definitely.
Okay, one last question by Becky is, how do you fight artist block or writer's block? So I guess for James, it's writer's block. How do you fight it?
The answer to that is you have to
James?
find something. If you're having writer's block, it means you
Hello?
can't. I'm here.
Oh,
Can you
Okay.
hear?
I can hear you now, yeah.
Okay.
So how do you fight writer's block?
Well, the answer is I generally don't get it, because if you have trouble figuring out where to go next, you have to just think through every situation that could happen. If you, let's say, you open a door, your character opens a door, you can imagine every possible thing that could happen, even the most extreme things like, a train jumps off his track and comes right at you, or, terrorists attack you, or a dog comes looking for food or something. I mean, everything that you can think of will open about possibilities. And also research is the other answer. If you're writing about a specific subject, if you do research into that subject and you read up about it, you will find things that will inspire you to think of things to write about. So really, you just have to kind of figure out ways. If you're kind of stuck on anything, you just got to find something that's related to read about, and that might stir your imagination in some way, or inspire you in some way, or just look at a lot of things, music or movies or whatever, that sort of kind of like in that same vein that might inspire you, but never copy anybody. Try to do your own thing, because a lot of people just copy stuff, and that's not really. It just kind of, nobody likes that when they see somebody just ripping something off. So the main thing is just to kind of get inspiration from things, and just try to be active and read and research and be and kind of just absorb a lot of stuff, and you won't have that problem.
Okay. And Matt, how do you fight artist block?
Definitely. Sometimes you got to push through it, but sometimes it depends. Sometimes you can step away for a little bit, kind of step away from the art desk, kind of do something that kind of relaxes you, refreshes you. Maybe you can watch a movie, get something, go out, get an ice cream cone or something, whatever. Just kind of relaxes you, step away for a little bit, and then you come back. Also, if I need to get juiced up, sometimes I'll watch some YouTube videos of my favorite artist, and they'll be drawing, and just watching them draw just kind of gets me in the mood. And for me, that can helps me out too. But lately, I've been so busy. I think if you keep busy enough, sometimes you can just work right through it. But for those times it does come, yeah, stepping away can help, and as well as just looking at other artists draw.
Yeah, sorry. I was gonna say something similar. Yeah, I usually put on some music, start listening to music, get my head off, my brain off what I'm doing, or watch some TV or whatever. You know,
Yeah.
anything to get your mind off of it for a bit, and then on the thing. Oh, William says that EBS is talking on John Dillard's stream right now about Tales Beyond the Gate. Oh, cool. That's something that me and a few of the others that are on my channel regularly got going on. Tales Beyond the Gate, which
Cool.
hopefully will come out sometime in the new year, early new year. So thank you everybody for tuning in. As I said,
Thanks, Rick.
no problem. And you guys are welcome back anytime. If you want to, I just checked Indiegogo a couple minutes ago. You haven't gone up anymore, but at least you got $150. I
Yeah.
hope that's due to me. It's $150 closer.
Every little bit helps.
So
I appreciate
hopefully,
Oh,
and
yeah.
like I said, anytime you guys want to come on, hopefully, if nobody's subscribed to me yet, please subscribe. You know, if you're in my chat and you want to come on, just say so, and I'll send you a link. I'm not sure whether I have your information, James, but you can always, give it to me, or Matt can give it to me, so I can send you a link or whatever on Facebook. All my stuff's in the link description as well. So. Anyway, so people hit that notification bell, hit the like button, subscribe, check out the rest of my content, and be sure to go check out their Indiegogo if you have yet to. And that's it for now. We'll see you all Monday. God bless. Have a great and beautiful weekend.
All right,
Thank
you
you.
too. Thanks a lot.